Yo, yo, yo. What's up, people? Well, I assume you're people at least. Hold up. Let me get on here. How's it going, Steve? How's it going, Mick? In the Flesh Aquatics, Beto, Jacob, Dwarf Cichlid. I saw Cack rolling here. Cam Jam, what's up? How's everyone doing? Nice to see y'all. I guess this qualifies as a late night stream. Holy. Hey, I'm with it. Late night stream time. Let's go. All right, let me get myself on here. Ah! Why is my video so large? Go 1 second. All right, let's get into it. We got some fun stuff. The pea puffer paper is going to be fun. Got some good details and some people trying to make I guess some breeding protocols for them. So that ended up being way more interesting than I expected when I first stumbled upon it. So yeah, it should be good. I'll probably go ahead and maybe I'll start with that. But first of all, how have you guys been? What have you been up to? What you've been doing? What you've been watching? And if Diana's around, this is for you. Okay, you got the pea puffers recently. I was like, man, maybe now's a good time to do the pea puffer paper that I've been wanting to do. You know what I mean? Come on, the timing's perfect. So we should get into that. There's Diana. What's up, Diana? We made it. Puffer's picking up the 2 rehomes in about 45 minutes. Okay, more pea puffers. Hope that makes your total 5 or 6, I believe. Holy. Okay. We getting up in here. What you guys been up to? What you've been watching? What you've been doing? What your fish been doing? Anything cool? Anything we should know? By the way, shout out Big Steve for coming on stream the other day. That was a good one. Always appreciate you coming by and chatting. Diana said, thanks, Nick. You're the best 6 Ps. All right, let's go. 6. Dorsiculated said, bought Epiplades lamati eggs and they hatched in transit. Wait, hatched in transit? Did they send them in water? Like, legit, you could tell they hatched it? Or did you just put water in and they were immediately out and about? And you're like, oh, they hatched in transit. Because that's kind of crazy. Oh, they shipped them in water. Okay. Interesting. That's kind of, I mean, for some, I've ordered some killifish eggs. I can't say I've ordered like hundreds of them, but I've gotten a decent amount. They were definitely all in peat or something like that. So shipping them in waters, I'm curious about, because, for instance, I collect a lot of Galaris eggs, but I don't know anything about picking them and which ones to ship and things like that. Cam Jam said, what's up, y'all? I'm headed to bed. We'll watch the replay. Appreciate you, Cam Jam. Yo, Cam Jam is hands down, I think, the top replay commenter. I gotta give the shout out to the work ethic. And Cam is one of the only people that I say, if you're gonna watch the replay, feel free to just comment as you watch as if you're in the chat so we can get the reaction throughout, even if you weren't in the chat. Cam's like the only one that consistently does that. I appreciate that, so thank you. George Cichlid said they came on strands of spawning mop. Okay, interesting. Mick said that's a great way when having trouble hatching. Put them in warm in a pocket and take a hike. Yep, some force hatching. Take them for a run. Why not? What's up, Johnny Best? How's it going? Johnny Best in the building. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Perfect. Okay. Well, let's see if we can get started here. Anything else coming on? Anything else before we move on to getting started? Anything else cool happening in your fish rooms, in your lives? Any cool videos? What's up, Johnny Best with the $5 donated. Thank you very much, Johnny Best. W Johnny in the chat. Man, I want to get like Johnny one day. Every stream I see him and he's donating stuff. It's crazy. Thank you so much. The donations help make the fish degeneracy possible. Let's go. By the way, I made a big Kins fish order recently. Speaking of, donations and stuff, I made a Kins fish order. I needed fish food. I'm running out of certain sized fish foods from my last order. So hopefully sometime soon we'll get that. I'll do a big unboxing. I mean, it's not like the biggest order ever, but it's a decent amount of different foods to try out. So we'll open that and try them out and stream sometime. But all right. So for the lineup, we got a paper on breeding techniques for pea puffers. Not too long, but it's got some nice photos. It's got some nice parameter details. You know, it's pretty much straight to the point. But as someone who has I've raised one baby pea puffer up to adulthood, so I'm basically an expert. I did find some interesting insights from that. So I'm going to pull that up without further ado after I check to see if there's anything I missed in the chat. And the one thing about the pea puffer breeding that's interesting is the full paper title, I'm about to put the link in the chat, is The Development of Captive Breeding Techniques for the Vulnerable Freshwater Puffer Fish, Chironotetrodon travicoricus. Ada keeps trying to jump up on me, but her nails are so sharp right now. I'm not wearing jeans, Ada. Yo, when the cat tries to jump on you when you're not wearing jeans and you haven't trimmed the nails too long, it is no joke. It is no joke. God, that hurt. Bro, she's been ignoring me all day. I came home. I wasn't home all day. Usually in that situation, she's like meeting me at the door. I didn't even see her when I came home. Now, when I'm finally, trying to stream or whatever, now it's, oh, look at me, I'm a cat. I'm gonna jump on you with my claws. But we did spend some, I was almost in it stream because we did spend some good cuddle time before the stream. So, cats, they just can never have enough, man. They can never have enough. They're so greedy. I don't know what to say. I love Ada the cat. I guess that's all I can really say legally. All right, let me get this paper up on the screen. Yep, here we go. Got that. And I'll turn the fish tank light back on in a second. Although the way the lighting is right now is kind of dramatic. I don't hate it. It's very dramatic. Okay. I spoil Ada the cat. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But what other choice do I have? All right, here we go. We're getting into it. The paper is loaded. And now I will turn the lights on and let's get into this. I think I put the link in the chat. It's pinned if you want to, read along or read later, I guess. Lights, camera, Ada the cat. So, this is development of captive breeding techniques for the vulnerable freshwater pufferfish. I'm not going to try and read the Latin name every single time because it's too late for that, but we'll just say the pea puffer. I think we all are on the same page with that. So, I'll actually go with the abstract here because it's just the whole thing is kind of interesting to me. This study aimed to establish optimal captive breeding and rearing conditions for Chironotetrodon travicoricus, a highly valued ornamental freshwater pufferfish, by determining optimal conditions for breeding and dietary types on reproductive performance. So I was already excited at the start because, I kind of know how they breed and stuff like that, but oh shit, they're testing like different feeding regimens and temperatures and water hardness and how that affects their success. This is pretty cool. Now we're talking. By determining optimal conditions for breeding and dietary types on reproductive performance. So this pufferfish, also known as the Malabar pufferfish or dwarf pufferfish, is endemic to the lowland rivers of the Western Ghats, India, living in calm waters, 0.13 to 0.35 m/s. Okay, let me see. What does that couple fish. Tell me what that is referencing in water speed. I forget. With temperatures of 25 to 28 degrees Celsius and pH 7.3 to 8.0. Due to its small size and ability to control snails and flatworms in aquaria, it has become a popular ornamental fish worldwide. Meters per second, a couple fish said. Okay, that's why I didn't want to say the wrong thing. And I was like, I know that there's someone in the chat that could tell me, so I could be sure. Okay, so 0.13 to 0.35 meters a second, which they say is calm. It's become popular because it, eats snails and stuff. Between 2005 and 2012, over 940,000 individuals were exported from India, making it the country's largest exporter of ornamental fish. Under current harvesting strategy, the puffer faces growing conservation concerns due to over-harvesting from the wild because individuals are often collected before maturity, contributing to the declining recruitment. Wild populations of Malabar pufferfish have declined due to over-harvesting and habitat loss, leading to their current vulnerable status on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. Therefore, much attention has been given to the reproductive biology of this species and natural habitat. Males and females reach first sexual maturity at 18.3 millimeters and 18.0 millimeters total length, respectively. Ripe gonad development occurs year-round, while peak spawning activity is observed during the southwest monsoon season from May to August. Histological analysis of oocyte development indicates an asynchronous ovarian development pattern, suggesting that the species is a continuous spawner or batch spawner. Which is great news if you're trying to breed this fish. Couple fish. I'm trying to get my tanks to be 1 meter to 1.5 meters a second of directional flow in my hill stream tanks. Okay, so that's a good bit more. 0.5 to 0.3 versus 1. Okay, that's a good way to compare. With the global demand for freshwater pufferfish, the first documentation of spawning and larval development in captivity was reported in Japan in 2015, followed by a detailed embryological study conducted in India in 2024. However, studies on captive breeding techniques and optimal husbandry conditions are still limited. To reduce collection pressure and ensure a sustainable supply for the aquarium trade, the establishment of optimal conditions for reproduction and larval rearing is essential. I definitely see more like captive bred pea puffers, I feel like, recently, so it's making sense that we're able to read this now. This study aims to establish effective breeding protocols and rearing conditions for hatchery and aquaculture applications of the pufferfish, and we would expect those efforts would reduce reliance on wild stock and support sustainable ornamental fish production. So, let's get into the materials and methods. First, they obtained mature pea puffers from a local ornamental fish farm and commercial suppliers. They determined the sex based on morphological features described in 2019. Females displayed a more rounded abdomen, while males exhibited a distinct black ventral stripe on the belly, which we do have pictured here. So you see figure A is the female, bit more bulbous, you might say. And then below you see the male and that black stripe underneath. That is really the best way to tell, I found. Iman Shahzadeh FSH said, "Hi, bro. What's up, man? How's it going?" See, I found that to be the easiest way to tell myself, the males with the black stripe on the bottom. A total of 200 brood stock were collected, including 117 males and 83 females. Dang, that's a lot. With average standard lengths of 2.9 centimeters and 2.92 centimeters, respectively. They're maintained in a 50-liter breeding tanks equipped with flow-through and filtration systems. Water quality was monitored daily, and they were fed once per day with commercial feed and live feeds. Uneaten feed was removed 1 hour after feeding. Due to high prevalence of parasites in wild-caught individuals, we conducted quarantine procedures before the acclimation period. The fish showing signs of emaciation or dull coloration were isolated and treated with anti-parasitic agents, and once stable, the broodstock were acclimated and then used in subsequent dietary and environmental trials. What's up, Beto? How's it going? They provided Java moss as a spawning substrate and paired in a 1-to-1 male to female ratio for all breeding experiments. So optimization of environmental conditions for breeding. Optimum water quality is considered necessary. Mick said this is great info. I'm telling you, man. Hey, anyone trying to breed pea puffers, you know, send them this paper or us reading through it. I think this is actually pretty nice. Optimum water quality is considered necessary for any aquaculture operation. To determine optimal conditions for breeding and rearing, they tested the effects of water temperature, water hardness, and light. Temperature treatments were set at 20 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Celsius, and 30 degrees Celsius. They acclimated the fish for a week before the trials began, and the water Celsius was set at 60 milligrams a liter soft, 100 milligrams a liter moderately soft, and 240 milligrams a liter hard, reflecting common aquaculture conditions in Taiwan. Based on light levels commonly found in indoor ornamental fish settings, light intensity trials were conducted under 2 regimens. 200 lux, low light without artificial lighting. 5,000 lux, high light using LED. Both treatments were maintained under a 16-hour light and 8-hour dark cycle. No additional shading structures or shelters were provided in the tank during the experiment. Here we see some. I uploaded the file. I can blame you if my computer gets hacked, Mick said. Oh my God. Here we see some pictures of the acclimation. So figure A, you can see they're acclimating them. They're feeding them some frozen bloodworms, looks like. B, they have some other commercial feed. Looks like some kind of dry thing they're getting them to eat, potentially. They got Atid shrimp and frozen bloodworms. All experimental treatments were conducted in 3 replicates. Nice. Yo, Amon said, hi, bro, again. What's up, bro? The bee food looks interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. It just says commercial feed. It kind of looks a little bit crazy. I'm very curious as what that is. A 25-day spawning trial was conducted to assess reproductive consistency. Broodstock were fed with frozen bloodworms, and spawning activity was monitored daily. Upon egg deposition, they were counted and transferred to separate 10-liter rearing tanks with an antifungal agent, white mold guard. So they got a veterinary drug permit for that. After hatching, fertilized eggs were counted to calculate the fertilization rate and hatching rate. Would you save the video? I'm busy now. Yeah, the replay for this will be up, man. No worries. You can always watch it later. So fertilization rate is number of fertilized eggs out of 100, and hatching rate is number of hatched eggs out of 100. The effect of dietary types on the brood stock. To evaluate the influence of diet on the reproductive performance, they used 3 diets to test. 1, a commercial feed, which is grouper pellets, Tai Rong, 48% crude protein, 14% lipid, and 13% ash. Let me look that up. Diana said, Gaia 2, thanks for the link. Anytime. So this looks like, I'm looking up this feed. 1 second. They said it's grouper pellets. See if we can track down what the hell this thing is. I should probably just read the paper and see if they even ate it first, but soybean meal, grouper pellets, Tai Rong. All right, we'll try and hunt this down a little bit later. The food they tried to feed was Atid shrimp, Neocaridina sp. 0.8 to 1 centimeters, and frozen bloodworms. Each treatment was replicated 3 times with 9 pairs per replicate. Okay, so 9 pairs of pea puffers per replicate 3 times. 27 pairs. Fish were maintained at 27 degrees Celsius with continuous aeration and flow-through water exchange. Feeding occurred once a day at 9 a.m. All experimental husbandry, egg incubation, and larval rearing procedures followed the methods described previously. Fertilization and rate and hatching rate were calculated using equations 1 and 2. So let's look at the effect of temperature. Effect of water temperature on the reproductive performance. So at 20 degrees Celsius, they had no spawns, no eggs at all. So that's a pretty good, result as far as like, yeah, we're gonna have to make that warmer. 25 degrees Celsius, we got 18 spawns. Number of eggs per spawn. Let's see, is this spawns per day? This is 3 plus like 3 eggs. Fertilization rate 91%, hatching rate 98%. Average frequency a day, 1.5 times a day they're spawning. At 30 degrees Celsius, they're spawning a good bit more, 21 spawns. 5 eggs per spawn, 92% fertilization, 97% hatch rate, and 1.4 spawns a day. The effect of water hardness on the reproductive performance doesn't really look like it changed that much. The soft water, those 60 milligrams a liter had 21 spawns. The 240 milligrams a liter had 20 spawns with a similar amount of eggs. What's up, George? How's it going? George says, how have y'all been? Been all right? So they're averaging spawning 1.5 times a day, but not a lot of eggs. At least that's what I'm reading so far, unless I'm reading the number wrong. Larval rearing procedures followed the methods described previously. After spawning, fertilized eggs were sampled daily and observed under a stereo microscope. Photographs were taken to record embryo development stage until hatching and onset of exogenous feeding. So let's see their analysis on the results of the temperature. The reproductive performance was influenced by environmental factors including temperature, water hardness, and light intensity. Temperature had a significant effect on reproductive behavior. No spawning was observed at 20 degrees Celsius, while active spawning occurred at both 25 degrees and 30 degrees Celsius. Spawning frequencies were 18 plus 2 and 21 plus 1 times a day, with egg numbers per spawn averaging 3 and 5 respectively. Fertilization and hatching rates remained high in both temperature groups, and spawning intervals were similar, about 1.5 times a day. These findings suggest that reproductive activity is suppressed at lower temperatures, but 25 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius are both suitable for successful breeding. Water hardness had no significant impact on spawning frequency or fertilization success, but had a marked effect on hatching outcomes. Across all hardness, spawning were consistent with frequencies, times, and fertilization. However, hatching success dropped significantly. Oh, I missed that. In the high hardness group. Oh shit, with a mean rate of only 32%. Let me go back. How did I miss that? Wow. So at 60 milligrams a liter and 150, it was like in the 90s. 240, it went to 32. All right. Compared to the high hatch rates in soft and moderately soft groups. What's up, Jesse? How's it going? These results indicate that high water hardness significantly impairs embryo development and hatching success. Now, the effects of light. They tested 200 lux and 5,000 lux. At 200 lux, the number of spawns was 20. The number of eggs per spawn was 5. Fertilization rate 97. And the hatching rate 98%. The frequency was 1.4 times a day. Under 5,000 lux, the number of spawns was 8. Fertilization rate 85% and hatching rate 92%. I think there's a typo here because it says it was 3 times a day, the average spawning, but the number of spawns is so much lower. That doesn't make any sense. I'll have to read the thing. So the artificial feed did a lot worse than the other ones, it looks like. The fertilization rate was only 49% on the artificial feed, 2 eggs per spawn, and only 16 spawns. With the shrimp, number of spawns was 21, eggs was 5, fertilization rate 92. And with bloodworms, It was almost exactly the same as the shrimp, but one more egg per spawn. So let's read their explanation here. The effects of light on reproductive performance. Spawning was observed under both high and low light. However, fish exposed to low light exhibited significantly higher reproductive output compared to the high light groups. The low light group spawned more frequently, produced more eggs per spawn, and had shorter spawning intervals. Fertilization and hatching rates were also significantly higher under low light conditions than the high light group. Broodstock fed on live feed showed better reproductive performance than those with the commercial feed. The number of spawning events was higher in the live feed groups and had consistently more eggs with high fertilization rates reaching 90%. Commercial feed only had fewer spawning events, fewer eggs, with a fertilization rate of 49%. All groups achieved 100% hatching rates, and spawning intervals were shortest in the live feed groups. 1. Oh, you know what? Frequency spawning day. This is how many days. I've been reading the thing wrong. It's average spawning frequency day, so every 1.5 days. My apologies, I was reading that wrong. So basically every day they were spawning, every 1.1, every 1.2 days. So before, when I was saying 1.5 times a day, it was every day and a half. Big said stress perhaps. Light, after all, is a small fish. It could be stress. They also, I think the setup, they didn't have like any cover or anything in any of the tanks with them, so I'm sure that's probably a factor in why the highlight was so much worse. I think they just had like some Java moss in there and nothing else. So it kind of, the light thing, I kind of feel like it possibly is, could be mitigated with a more holistic setup. Okay, embryonic development. We got some pictures of these. Fertilized eggs had a mean diameter of 1,487 micrometers. At a water temperature of 27 degrees Celsius, incubation lasted approximately 120 hours, with newly hatched larvae being 3,000 ums. By 12 hours post-fertilization, embryos had reached the gastrula stage. Somite development began by 24. Okay, here's some pictures of the development. Mick said that explains a lot with the tanks being empty. Look how cute the little baby pea puffer is, man. They're really crazy. In person, when first time I saw a little pea puffer baby, I was like, oh my God, bro, I can't believe it. I lost my mind. So we have them, a fertilized egg, and all the way up to I, which is 120 hours. So not the longest ever, not too bad. Mick said 4 to 5 days. He did the math. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. So it looks like temperature 25 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius worked for spawning. So some warmer water for sure. Definitely something you're going to want to go for, which corresponds with the natural breeding period, which occurs during the southwest monsoon season in India. Although water hardness didn't affect the spawning frequency or larval survival rate, suggesting that both adult fish and fertilized eggs can tolerate harder water conditions, the hatch rate was significantly decreased. So you might want to avoid that. It's also been reported that water hardness above 200 milligrams a liter can significantly suppress larval growth. And high water hardness has been shown to reduce hatching success and cause abnormalities in the larvae of some freshwater catfish. Big Steve said, I'm trying to get things done, so I'm struggling to keep up. Let me know when you get to the end and just tell me what to do. All right, I'll do a summary. Oh my God, Big Steve. This guy. I think the most useful thing about this is the temperatures, the detailed timeline of the egg incubation, and then a better idea of how often that the pea puffers spawn, which is pretty regularly. It seems like every day and a half or so at 25 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius. what's kind of crazy, they're only laying 1 to 6 eggs per spawn though. So I think that is something to keep in mind. I think I remember reading that they didn't lay that many eggs, but just to see them, do all the replicates and stuff and come to this 1 to 6 eggs per spawn thing, like if they're doing it every other day, I guess that adds up pretty quickly, especially if more than one, but you definitely would want to maximize on the fertilization stuff. You wouldn't want to have a 50% hatch rate because you stuck with your hard water when they're already only laying 6 eggs at a time. All right. They're comparing them to some other puffer species. Sea imitator does like 10. Sea lure and sea arabesco does 200 eggs. What puffers are these? Oh, the red-eye puffer. Oh shit, the red-eye puffer does that many more eggs? Okay, which one's this? Sea arabesque. Red-eye, red tail. Are there two red-eye puffer looking things? So let's see. Somfong's puffer? Oh no. There's two red-eye puffers. Okay, this one's red-eye, red tail. Okay, they look different enough, I think. Okay. They lay a lot more eggs, so that's interesting. That means there must be studies on those puffers. Oh no. Oh no, I'll have to catch up with those too, because they got a pretty detailed chart here. So with a moderate incubation period of 5 days at 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, in contrast, these other puffers produce 200 eggs, are smaller and have shorter incubation times. Arabesco has 2 to 3 days before it hatches. The pea puffer has a slightly longer hatch time and slightly larger larva. These species exhibit longer incubation times, suggesting a slower embryonic development, possibly associated with reproductive strategy or environmental adaptations. Larger larvae from larger eggs would increase their survival rate in their natural habitat. The relatively large larvae of the puffers were able to feed with Artemia, and rearing lasted for 1.5 months, with observed survival rates ranging from 20% to 50%. This interspecific differences suggest the need for species-specific breeding protocols and conservation strategies. For the pea puffers, successful breeding, here you go, Steve, here's your summary. Successful breeding should emphasize high-quality live foods, warm water temperature, and low water hardness, low light, and the use of fine-leaved aquatic plants as spawning substrates. Reproductive performance is significantly improved in addition feeding live diets such as the shrimp. Basically, I think there was this Neocaridina or bloodworms, which may further enhance reproductive success. We also documented embryonic development with a hatch time of approximately 5 days and larvae capable of active feeding within 48 to 72 hours post-hatching, after which newly emerged larvae were successfully fed with brine shrimp. These practical guidelines not only improve breeding efficiency in captivity, but also provide a sustainable alternative to wild collection, thereby contributing to both aquaculture industry and conservation of vulnerable ornamental species. Steve said, I wish those red-tailed puffers weren't such bastards. I've heard at least one person say that maybe they're not that bad, depending on, I forget the factor. But there you go. I put the link to this. It's pinned in the chat. I'll switch it out when we start the next one. But I thought this was a nice, short little paper to the point. We got some detailed parameters. The pea puffers, they're not that I mean, they laid the eggs in Java moss. I feel like it's not that complicated. I've seen people do, like, I think Keeping Fish Simple even has, like, they just, dump their eggs in there. So I feel like that concept's simple. But just having a good timeline of the hatching, a detailed description, and seeing how much the temperature and hardness affects things. The light, I feel like, could be a tank setup, but if you're going to do a breeding setup where you're trying to just make the egg collection as easy as possible, you might also make the tank as bare as they did, so may as well also make it low light. Do yourself a favor. Excuse me. Goodness. All right. How we feeling? How we feeling? Corey, I put the link on Discord. Corey said, feeling Atiid, what did my Amanos ever do to you? We're feeding the puffers the scrimp, man. Scrimp are getting 8. All right. Let's see. What's the vibe? Let's see. Ooh, sex determination. I want to hit that. Also, shout out to people watching this live at night, but also shout out to the replay crew. I'm trying to stay relatively focused for you guys. I'm thinking about you guys, not just myself, because I have to wake up early. All right. Let's see. Next, I want to do the sex determination one, because this also was kind of one of those, a lot of parameter information things I kind of already know but like reading. Chi Savage Cichlid said, Nick, #1 Higer salesman. Wait, when did I mention Higer? This is the first I've heard of Higer this whole stream. What are you talking about? All right, this is from the Journal of Biological Sciences, and it's titled A Review of Molecular Approaches for Sex Determination in Ornamental Fish. Mick said, a little late here, still adapting new killies to temporary tanks. My gosh, Mick, you just got so many killifish all over the place. What's going on? So this one's kind of interesting, as always. You know, it's got a economic incentive in the beginning in the abstract. You know, it's an ornamental fish industry. It's a significant sector of aquaculture. Accurate sex identification is essential for optimizing breeding efficiency, economic value, and stock management. However, traditional phenotypic sexing methods are often unreliable due to late sexual dimorphism, environmental influences, and extensive strain divergence driven by domestication and selective breeding. Bob Bravo said this live stream came at the right time since I just got pea puffers. Nice. We just went over the puffer paper. I don't know if you missed it. You can go back. But hey, if you found it helpful, let me know. I'd be happy to hear people say, "Oh, that was interesting. That was helpful." Thanks for checking it out. Let's see if I'm just yapping here. If we're doing something. My friend will come in 2 weeks. 4 to 5 species. All right. Oh, they're asking Mick what the right temp to keep killias is. Maybe one day Mick will actually come on stream and explain his wisdom to us. So this review synthesizes current knowledge on biological basis of sex determination in ornamental fishes and evaluates molecular approaches used for sex identification across diverse genetic and environmental contexts. Teleost fish exhibit exceptional diversity in sex determination systems, including XXXY and ZZ/ZY polygenic and epigenic system. By the way, I need someone that understands genetics to come on stream and give us a crash course sometime, because I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. So, 1. Biological basis of sex determination in ornamental fish. Savage Cyclist said I'd ask Nick, but he's too busy reading. Bro, my answer would be what killifish, man. It depends. Come on, you know better than that. You gotta ask a specific fish. There's killifish in what? Jamaica, America, South America, Africa, the Middle East. I mean, come on, bro. I can't just give you one size fits all temperature for them. Come on. Okay. Fish exhibit unparalleled diversity in sex determination mechanisms encompassing genetic sex determination, GSD. That's going to be referring to genetic sex determination. Environmental sex determination, which is the one I'm more interested in, why I was interested in this paper, is the environmental factors, ESD, and polygenic systems. I'm going to look up the word polygenic real quick. A polygenic trait or disease is one influenced by multiple genes rather than a single gene. All right. The most common chromosomal systems are male heterogamety XX/XY and female heterogamety ZZ/ZY. Polygenic sex determination systems involve the combined action of multiple genetic loci, LOCI, where each contributing a small effect to the final sex phenotype, making sex determination a quantitative and context-dependent outcome rather than one controlled by a single master sex-determining gene. Meanwhile, environmental factors such as temperature and social hierarchy are also widespread. These multi-system mechanisms are particularly widespread among telos, the most evolutionary diverse group of ray-finned fishes. Sex determination mechanisms reflects the evolutionary plasticity of fish reproductive strategies and underscores the importance of species-specific approaches in developing molecular sexing tools. Wow, molecular sexing tools. What a world. Jacob said, look up Mendel's legacy for genetics when you have free time. All right, I'll have to do that. Diane said, all right, Bob, welcome to the club. Got a couple people that just got pea puffers. What's up? Pea puffers up right now. Mick said there's 1,000 species of killies, so yes, some like it cold, some don't. Come on. You thought there was only like 2 killifish? So, Table 1, representative molecular markers for sex determination, ornamental fish. So here's some. So, for instance, guppies, koi, betta splendens, Japanese parrotfish. They're XY, male heterogamety is their system type. For guppies, the marker type is SMP. Target gene/region is the Y-linked region, is all for guppies. And the method is NGS and PCR. I'm just reading this for people that might understand it, even though I don't. Just so if you hear this, you're like, oh, this is interesting. I want to read the paper myself. Please come along. Link in the chat. For now, it's 1,270 species of killies, according to Wikipedia, Mick said. Okay, well, Savage Cichlids wants to know what a rare one is. That's all he wants. Rare. Master regulators and candidate genes. Okay. That is pretty... that's looking very technical. Let me get to some environmental stuff that I might be able to actually understand. Hold up. PCR-based methods. Actually, I do want to read about this. All right, let's try. Here we go. Molecular approaches to sexing. Pause. PCR-based methods. Polymerase chain reaction, PCR, remains the cornerstone of molecular sexing, enabling amplification of sex-linked sequences with high sensitivity and specificity. PCR-based assays target candidate gene regions, e.g. DMRT1, AMH, CYP19A1A, or sex-specific fragments identified through genomic comparisons. Among them, RAPD and AFLP markers are low-cost but less reproducible. SCAR markers strike a balance with moderate cost and high reliability, and indel markers tend to offer high reliability with moderate to high assay costs during indel region discovery. So I'm not going to go deep into each one of those, but just if you know a taste or you're interested in what that is, they got a whole little section just describing that further. But let me get into some environmental stuff real quick, because I think that's the thing that's going to be most relevant to us. A nice one is Aphysemian Mimbon, a pair of German killie auction this Sunday went for 220 euros. Damn. What's up, Fishcapades? How's it going? Biological challenges. Oh, man. Strain variability represents a major biological constraint on the reliability of molecular sex markers in ornamental fish. Selective breeding for coloration, morphology, and behaviors generated substantial genetic divergence among strains within the same species, which can disrupt primer binding sites and reduce amplification consistency. Consequently, markers that perform well in a single strain may fail when applied more broadly. This reminds me, I think it was Weeks who was talking about like after a couple generations of breeding some of these wild type fish, they're like practically a different species. This is like a more of an extreme, but still, that's what it reminds me of. Multi-strain and population level validation is therefore critical to ensure marker robustness and commercial applicability. Extensive domestication and selective breeding in ornamental fish can substantially restructure genetic diversity, and given the known lability of sex determination systems in telos, sex-linked markers may not always be transferable across populations or breeding lines. For example, beta splendens is often described as following an XY-like system. However, domestication and strain divergence suggest a more complex, potentially polygenic architecture. So they expected that it would be it's usually an XY system, but perhaps after all these different strains and stuff, it's something influenced by numerous genes, each typically having a small effect rather than a single gene. Polygenic definition. I didn't just look that up again. C. Chavez said Australs look nice. Yeah, Australs are, that's a classic, one of your first killies that you should get, Aphysemian Austral. Environmental sex reversal further complicates marker interpretation by introducing discordance between genetic sex and phenotypic sex. Environmental factors such as temperature and social interactions can override genetic predispositions during critical development windows, resulting in sex-reversed individuals. In such cases, molecular markers that accurately reflect genetic sex may conflict with gonadal phenotype, challenging their use in breeding and management decisions. This phenomenon is well documented in cellular telos and underscores the need to integrate molecular data with phenotypic and environmental information. Holy. I'm just going to look up Aphysemian Austral real quick. Yeah. What's there not to like about a solid orange fish? I mean, there's a couple. There's the chocolate ones. There's the more, honestly, the more natural form where it's still got some blue on it and stuff. I'm pretty into. I know there's a couple different locations, but I don't know. It's a solid fish. What can I say? The interplay between these genes and environmental factors underlies the remarkable plasticity of sex determination in fish. For instance, removal of the dominant male of the progenus fish, Nodolabrus silidotus. Look that up. Ew. The spotty fish? That's the best they could come. The spotty fish. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? This is like it's like the laziest dog name ever. I'm gonna name him Spot. Yeah, it's Spot. But fish form. The spot fish. Because it's, well, to be honest, it is a pretty plain looking fish besides the fact it has a black spot on it. I'll give him that, but still. It's like if you just got one freckle on your face and they say, hey, what's up, freckle? Like, really? You couldn't have made fun of my big ears? Species will trigger sex change in the initial female into male. So removal of the dominant male of the spotty fish may cause the sex change in the initial female into male. Meanwhile, temperature-dependent sex reversal has been well documented in species such as Nile tilapia and the common carp, where elevated temperatures during early development can induce maculinization. Such phenotypic shift is often mediated by epigenetics modifications, particularly suppression of CYP19A1A. I'm going to look that up. The hell is this? It's a key enzyme responsible. The key enzyme responsible for converting androgens like testosterone and the estrogens. All right, interesting. So suppression of that. All right. Regulatory regions under masculinizing conditions will reduce estrogen synthesis and promote testes development. These findings highlight the dynamic crosstalk between genetic regulators and environmental inputs, reinforcing the need for integrated molecular and ecological approaches to sex control in aquaculture. Cybercycle said, one of my coworkers is a fish nerd too. I just found out today. Hell yeah. Finally a person I can talk to in real life about it. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Hey, you never know. I honestly, I think this is actually a hobby that's really hard to tell in the wild if someone else is into fish. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I first got into fish, there was a couple people I already knew in real life that I had no idea they were kind of low key into fish like this at some point in their lives, if not currently. So you just never really know. In the wild. Yeah, come on. Wild caught fish keepers. Wild caught fish friends. I'll read the conclusion. I picked this one because I knew it would be difficult because I know nothing about this stuff. Although I feel like what I'm taking away from this, besides reinforcement of some things like temperature and stuff, but there's some concepts I'm taking away from this, like the concept of different chromosomal systems and how they can shift with domestication. I think that's probably something that when we in the future do a stream and learn more about this genetic stuff could be useful, because what if you are following a pattern? I think this is take their example of the beta splendens, and you're expecting them to have this XXXY system, but maybe you're working with a strain that's shifted to a more polygenic system over time. So right now, I don't fully understand all this, but I feel like it's getting me towards a place of knowing more. So I like this. The link is in the chat. And Lisa said, hi, lurking, enjoying the review of this article. Okay, good. I'm glad. Lisa said, I've met 0 people in my circles who are into freshwater fish keeping. Oh, man. I mean, it can be hard, but who knows? Maybe they're hiding, or they might join you randomly one day. Never give up hope. So in conclusion, I'll just read the conclusion of this paper. Molecular sex determination has become an indispensable tool for the ornamental fish industry, offering solutions to the biological complexity that limit traditional phenotypic sexing. This review highlights the extraordinary diversity and plasticity of sex determination in systems in ornamental fishes, preclude the use of universal markers, and instead demand species, strain, and context-specific strategies. Actually, I think Ross made a comment about the genetics and like how the outcomes would come with the snow whites breeding, and someone left a really cool comment about that. And one of the things they mentioned was that you can't compare what might happen with the snow whites to like the super reds, because they're different strains. So see, it's like I don't really fully understand all these concepts, but like I'm now remembering that comment. I'm reading this paragraph. I'm like, okay, it's kind of clicking a little bit more to me. So you need species-specific strain and context-specific strategies. PCR-based assays remain the most accessible and practical tools for routine applications, while NGS-driven SMP discovery provides the resolution required to develop robust genotype-resolved markers and genetically complex or hybridized stocks. Transcriptomic, okay, we're gonna have to look that up. That word's too crazy. Transcriptomic. Transcriptomes. I'm not a robot. I am not a robot. Transcriptomics refer to the study of transcriptome, which catalogs all types of RNA transcripts produced by a cell or tissue at a given time including mRNAs and non-coding RNAs. It provides insight into gene expression patterns and regulatory networks, often utilizing high-throughput sequencing methods. All right. I guess that helped. So transcriptomic and epigenetic approaches deepen mechanistic understanding and are particularly valuable in environmentally sensitive systems, although they require integration with genetic markers for reliable diagnostics. Emerging portable technologies promise to bridge laboratory and field applications, but require further validation in fish. They got to figure out if the results are good in the fish, though. Ultimately, the reliability of molecular sexing in ornamental fish hinges on rigorous multi-strain validation. That's gonna be different, costly to get a solid method if you got to do it per strain for everything. Standardized protocols, also the integration of genetic, epigenetic, and environmental information. Continued investment in genomic resources and comparative frameworks will be critical to translating molecular sexing from experimental studies into dependable industrial applications that support sustainable breeding, economic efficiency, and biodiversity conservation. In the conclusion, Lisa said, I got an incredible snow white pleco at the Keystone Clash from Samurai Aquatics. She was just a baby then and is doing so well. Oh, nice. Speaking of Samurai Aquatics, if you are in the area, my area, which is Maryland, there's a cool event happening the 30th. The Facebook event has like 700 responses. So, I mean, they've had some pretty big events before, but like, this is looking pretty promising. And it's also in an area, it's in Severna Park, I believe, which is closer to me than most fish events, closer to Annapolis, which is the capital of Maryland. And I just think a lot more people from, the DC, Virginia area might make the trek up. So I don't know. It could be an interesting event. Let's see. Do they have their website? Yeah, it's 160 Truckhouse Road, Severna Park. It's May 30th, 2026, and I brought it up because I think Samurai Aquatics has a table there, which Lisa just mentioned. So Samurai got a bunch of really fancy, very nice plecos and stuff. And then I saw Small World Aquatics is going to be there, and they also have a pretty great selection of fish, and they buy from a lot of, they breed a lot of stuff, and they also sell stuff bred by a lot of local people. So I think that could be pretty dope to make it to. So if you're in the area, May 30th. If you're part of Aquarius Society of Central Maryland, we have a table for members. Some of our members, you can submit some fish to sell on the table. Go to our Facebook page. We have a post up about how to reach out about that, but it's just something we're trying out. See if, members, if you don't breed enough fish to justify yourself a whole table, we'll provide a table for our members to sell some of their fish on. So I'm calling out Big Steve. I'm calling out Big Steve. Ross, I expect you to come through with some fish, Ross. Aaron, Grace, you better come through with some fish. Myself, I gotta find some fish to bring. And I would love to get Becca out there with some fish. She's got those pipe fish and stuff. I'd love for her to bring some. But yeah, May 30th. All right. You guys ready for some dietary information? I need to do more. Do you guys like these research read streams? Because they do take like some time to prepare for, depending on like how much I want to make sure the paper's not going to be like a waste of time beforehand. Although sometimes it's fun you guys have told me in the past you like it better when we're discovering, like, I haven't read it before, so usually I just skim them. I don't actually read them all the way, but like I've got a good bunch saved up over the last few weeks, so I could just spam research read streams for a bit while I'm kind of moving around. Just let me know if you guys like them enough for me to do a bunch of them. Steve said, I really hope that Becca comes so I can get more pipefish. Yeah, come on, man. Come on, that'll be great. Jacob said, W stream, appreciate you. 300 attendance would be crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's 300, 700 responses. I don't know how many will show up. But one thing that Tanner does, which I think other aquarium people need to do, and I'd love to do myself, is he really utilizes Facebook ads a lot. And it seems like they work pretty well for events. Also, compared to like likes and shares and stuff, responses to an event has a pretty nice snowball effect because it automatically recommends like that event to people it thinks will like it, that are friends with you and stuff like that. So I think that's also part of why it works so well. But it's not like it just happened out of nowhere. Like, he spends a lot of effort into promoting it through just posting, but also paid advertisement. So I think, if you're doing an event, that's something you might want to look into, at least for something that's you're hoping is going to be big. I lost 2 pipefish immediately, but 2 were doing really good. Then I didn't really think about it. Stuck a big betta embellis in with them, and they were gone. Bro, you put a big betta in with a pipefish, which is essentially just a giant worm for them to eat. Come on. No, Big Steve. No. Vic said I have the focus span of 30 to 40 minutes per thing I say, but it's late here too, so who knows? Yeah. Lisa said, I'm wondering if this research reads would help more people see how they could contribute research to the field. Seems like people do their own research informally. Well, one of the reasons I do them, and if you go back in the catalog, I think some of them have good rewatch of value that we've done, but that is one of the reasons. It's like, I don't know much, I'm trying to learn, but also we've had a fun time looking at the different materials and methods. I think it's gotten to the point where we can kind of read a paper and tell how much we should really pay attention to it based on how they set it up. And I think we're slowly kind of gaining some ideas of do's and don'ts. And I do think you're right. I think that there probably are some people that might be able to run some interesting experiments. Nick's laughing. Steve said, I do dumb shit daily. Yeah. I mean, don't we all? Don't we all? Let me not speak for all of us. But I do too, Steve. I do too. Solidarity. All right. Let me get into... So this one, it's saying the link is too long. Let me see if I can make a bit.ly link for it so I can still put it in the chat for people to check out. Give me 1 second. But I did this one because, one, it was a fish that I recognized. I've seen rusty cichlids before in auctions. They don't usually, at least where I'm at, they're not too popular right now, but they seem like a pretty common one that places have in stock often. I feel like Imperial Tropicals, I feel like always has some. Let me see. Yeah, Imperial Tropicals has 14 in stock, $8.99. Seems like a nice little cichlid. I don't know too much about them, but it's an aquarium fish, so it's relevant. It's a cichlid. They're from, let's see where they're from. I think it's one of the lakes. Yeah, Lake Malawi. So the effect of dietary spirulina on these guys, I think, is something applicable enough that it's interesting. This is in the International Journal of Entomology Research, Volume 11, Issue 1, page number 270 to 274. Ooh. Ask Dawn what she thinks about my rusty cichlid, Steve says. What do you mean? Lisa Wolf said, Steve, did you escape a tank at the Clash? What do you mean did he escape a tank at the Clash? He was the People's Choice Award winner. Show some respect on Big Steve's name. Come on. I think, Steve, are you the most decorated aquascaper in the chat right now? I don't know if a couple of fish has competed in anything. Steve said, did I? All right, so this paper is called The Effects of Dietary Spirulina fusiformis on Chosen Physiological Biochemical Parameters and Color Changes in Rusty Cichlid, Idotrophius springere, reared in ammonia-contaminated water. So a lot of weird stuff going on here. I forgot about the reared in ammonia contaminated water. And also, these people just never talk normal. Like, physiological and biochemical parameters. Oh my gosh, man. Can't they make this like 8th grade reading level so I can keep up? So let's see. Spirulina. I'm looking up the spirulina species. So it says there are 3 species: Athrospira platensis, A. fusiformis, and A. maxima. So this is fusiformis. Is there anything specific about it that they list here? Not really. Let's see if the paper goes into detail about that. Lisa said, yes, that was my favorite tank. Well done, sir. See, that's why it's the people's choice. Mick said, that's how you get funds for your research. Johnny Best already funded my research. $5. I'm researching Kin's food. Kin's fish food. That's what that is basically what I think most of the time when YouTube pays me, I do just spend it on food for the next few months. Okay. Well, after I get it paid from them a few times, because holy shit is so expensive, man. Aquaculture. This study investigated the effects of spirulina fusiformis supplementation on growth performance, feed utilization, ammonia tolerance, and coloration of the ornamental fish Itotrophia spiraceae under ammonia-contaminated conditions. That's so interesting. Fish were fed diets containing varying It's interesting because I get why they would purposely rear them in ammonia-contaminated water, because like aquaculture conditions seems like regularly maybe they're not the healthiest sometimes, so it's important to know. But I guess what I'm curious to see is why they are seeing what feeding spirulina does when reared in ammonia. Like, are they hoping it's going to make it worse, make it better? Like, I'm just kind of interested. I feel like spirulina is kind of scary to feed a lot of. Well, I guess that's in powder form. Well, let me just read. Fish were fed diets containing varying levels of spirulina for 3 months. Okay, so this is a pretty high effort. Anytime there's studies like at least for a couple months, I mean, I know someone out there's like, it's not for years, this is useless. But I'm like, okay, they did it for 3 months. That's pretty decent. That's way better than, remember those betta fish research papers that were supposed to prove bettas need like the minimum water or whatever, and it's like 1 week in an unfiltered tank that's just like horrendous. So at least it's better than that. Mick said, nature's going downhill, so well, you know. That's true. There's some high ammonia waters in nature, I guess, or higher. It happens. They fed them for 3 months. Growth parameters, feeding rate, conversion efficiency, ammonia concentration, and tissue coloration were evaluated monthly. Aquaculture intensification often results in the accumulation of toxic nitrogenous waste such as ammonia in water, which poses a serious threat to fish health and production. Ammonia is a principal nitrogenous waste product in aquaculture systems and is toxic to fish, especially in its unionized form, which easily diffuses through gill membranes and causes physiological stress, gill damage, metabolic disruption, altered immune responses, and reduced growth and performance in fish species. Elevated chronic ammonia exposure has been shown to provoke oxidative stress and impair physiological homeostasis, ultimately compromising fish health and survival. Functional dietary additives with antioxidant and nutritional properties have been investigated to mitigate environmental stressors in aquaculture, and among these spirulina species, most commonly platensis, Spirulina platensis, or fusiformis, are photosynthetic cyanobacteria rich in high-quality protein, essential amino acids, vitamins, pigments such as beta-carotene and phycocyanin, and other bioactive compounds. What's up, Big Cat 420? Fish read every day. Oh my god, that was terrible. Strengthen immune responses under both normal and stress conditions. Studies in various freshwater fish species, including Oreochromis nauticus, carps, and ornamental species, have demonstrated that dietary spirulina supplementation can increase growth rates, feed conversion efficiency, hematological status, hemoglobin, RBC counts, blood biochemistry, serum protein, antioxidant enzymes, and immune parameters such as lysozyme activity and IgM levels. Moreover, supplementation of spirulina has been associated with enhanced pigmentation or color intensity in ornamental fish, attributable to the carotenoid content in spirulina. What's up, Mountain Greenery? How's it going? How's it going? We're just reading about feeding fish. Mick said, keyword here is ammonia stress. Research regarding stress and what impacts our bodies is important. So getting us to basic stats is promoted, yeah. So again, this is the effects of dietary spirulina fusiformis on rusty cichlids, Idiotropheus springerae, but reared in ammonia-contaminated water. Smart person said, listening in while in the flight to Berlin, lying down and letting Nick Science lullaby me to airplane sleep. This is the snooze streams. Come on. So let's look at the materials or methods. Let's see if this is even worth paying attention to. Come on. This is where it all gets tested. Rusty cichlids, average weight 5 grams, were obtained from a reputable ornamental fish supplier and acclimated for 14 days. Love to see when they actually acclimate the fish for a bit before they start the experiment. What's up, Jose? Said, hello, Nick. All on the drive home, lurking. Drive safe. Drive safe. Acclimated for 14 days in a 200-liter glass aquarium. That's 52 gallons-ish. Under controlled conditions, standard water quality parameters, temperature, dissolved oxygen, and pH were maintained within the optimal ranges for cichlids, 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, dissolved oxygen at 5 milligrams a liter, pH 7.5 to 8. Throughout acclimation during this period, fish were fed a commercial diet twice daily at 3% body weight. Lisa said, I try to consume spirulina in all my smoothies for all the benefits, they said, especially bringing out the color in my scales. Yo, we got a dragon in the chat, holy. Feed formulation was done by the square method, and a 35% basil protein diet was prepared using ingredients like fish meal, ground nut, oil cake, tapioca flour, maida, M-A-I-D-A. What is that? Okay. It's a type of flour. Cod liver and vitamin and mineral mixtures. At first, dried and powdered ingredients were blended to make a homogeneous mixture. Subsequently, the feed ingredients were mixed with an aliquot of boiled water and then cooked in steam for 20 minutes. The pellets were then prepared with a hand-operated pelletizer and dried in sunlight. The dried diets were stored in a refrigerator until use. I've made food kind of similar to this with spirulina, and my Congo puffers ate it. So I feel like this wouldn't be too hard to replicate. The dried spirulina powder was used as a source of spirulina. It was procured from Antenna Ornamental Fish Farm in India. The spirulina diets were then assessed to see the impact of the chosen diets on the reduction of ammonia toxicity in the tested fish. So this is interesting. I don't think we've read one that's seen how the food reduces ammonia toxicity. I kind of think about feeding fish. I'm like scared I'm going to increase ammonia, from the food itself. Mick said ground nut. I said pause, bro. It's ground nut oil cake. Ground nut oil cake. Diana said, whoop, whoop. 2 boy puffers. They have a definite dark stripe down their belly. Hope some of my 4 juveniles are girls. The odds are in your favor, Diana. Congratulations, though. The odds are definitely in your favor on that. Ground nut oil cake. Yes, I think it is peanut indeed. All right. Let's see the experiment. Experimental fish. They can have a little GNOC, G-N-O-C. What do you mean by that? Don't do this. Don't do this Randall initialisms with me. Experimental fish El Rojita. Got another fish in here. Freshwater carp. All right. were collected from stocking cement tanks and divided into 5 groups. Each group consisted of 12 individuals. They were stocked in a circular epoxy-coated cement tank, 58 centimeters high. Width is 58 centimeters and 40 centimeters high. Capacity 120 liters. Oh, they can have a little ground nut oil cake? Okay. Yo, give me that GNOC, that GNOC, the ground nut oil cake. Containing 100. Okay, through the experiment, 3 replicate tanks were randomly assigned to different levels of ammonia, concentrations, or other treatments. Experimental diets were formulated to be isonutritive, with protein and energy balanced across treatments. Spirulina formis powder was incorporated into the basal feed at inclusion levels of 0%, which is the control, 2%, 4%, and 6%. Or other chosen concentrations based on preliminary work to create graded spirulina diets. All dry ingredients were mixed, pelleted, and oven dried at 40 to 50 degrees Celsius and stored at 4 degrees Celsius until use. All right. Estimation of feed parameters. The chosen test medium was changed daily to maintain the toxic concentration. The sacrifice method was adopted to estimate growth. What the hell is going? Yo, this just turned into like a cult ceremony. To maintain the constant toxic concentrations, the sacrifice method was adopted to estimate growth. Okay, we're gonna have to make a detour here. Sacrifice method, and they said this is Maynard and loosely, 1962. I'm sure things were super humane back then. The sacrifice method. Let me see if they describe it. I gotta make it so it has to include these authors' names. It's hard to find the older ones sometimes. You'll see the references, like it's pulling up a bunch of references. Okay. So they use it in chickens too. I'm sure they're gonna describe what it is, but oh my god. I guess they have to kill it in order to evaluate how much they grew. Lisa Wolf said, like, left the dead fish in there. Usually when I have questions like this, if I just read another sentence, it's answered. So that's what I'm going to do. But here we go. So the sacrifice method was adopted to estimate growth of animals. A few sample fish representing the experimental fish were killed to estimate the water content at the beginning of the experiment. The initial/final weight of test animals in the experiment group was determined based on this estimation. Fish feed samples and unconsumed feed were weighed in an electronic monopan balanced to 0.1 milligram accuracy. Feed consumption was estimated gravimetrically in terms of weight. Weight gain was estimated by keeping the killed fish in a hot oven at 80 degrees Celsius for 2 days until weight constancy. You know, I like that they're open about the slaughter of the fish in this one. They're not really trying to dress it up. We got the sacrifice method. We got the killed fish. They did just say like the specimens. We placed the cadaver specimens in the oven. They're like, nah, we placed the murdered fish in the oven for 80 degrees Celsius for 2 days to weight constancy. Vic said, what the hell happened here? Growth or conversion was estimated as the difference between the final weight of fish at time and the weight of fish at the beginning. This is one of the usually a lot of these papers we get to the point where they slaughter the fish, but this one was pretty funny. We killed the fish, then we put the killed fish in the oven. Like, who talks like this? The energetic equation followed in the present study is that of the IBP formula, represented as C equals F plus U plus P plus R, where C equals food consumed, F equals feces, U equals nitrogenous excretory waste, P equals growth, and R equals energy. So food consumed equals feces plus nitrogenous excretory waste plus growth plus energy released as heat due to metabolism. Food consumed was estimated by subtracting the amount of unfed from the total food offered. Food absorbed was calculated by subtracting the quantum of feces from that of C. So food absorbed is A, so A equals food consumed minus feces. Food converted into body structure, P equals growth, was estimated as the difference between the weight of the individuals at the beginning and at the termination of the experiment, and probably their lives. Energy expended on the body functions, metabolism, which is R, was calculated after subtracting the sum of energy equivalent of ammonia, which is U, excreted and the food converted, P, by the fish from the food absorbed, A. So metabolism would equal food absorbed minus parentheses ammonia plus equivalent ammonia excreted the food converted by the fish. Whew. So we got a lot of formulas here, though. Surprisingly, I'm following so far. I understand these. So I like how they've laid this out, where I can actually follow along. So let me just skip past this part before I run into what I can't. Estimation of coloration. Total arytenoids in the fin, skin, and muscle of the fish were did analysis following the method WIG from 2018. Tissues, 30 to 50 milligrams, were cut into small pieces and homogenized in a tissue homogenicide for 3 times in 1 hour duration with 20 milliliters acetone. The extract thus obtained were filtered for carotenoid content measured in UV/V and a spectrophotometer. Calculation was made using the method of WAGD 2018, and absorption was measured at 475 nm, which nm is the wavelength of the visible light spectrum or something like that. Statistical analysis. All right, let's look at the results. The effect of dietary spirulina supplementation on the weight gain of the rusty cichlid reared in ammonia-contaminated water is presented in Table 1. Fish fed the spirulina supplemented diet showed improved weight gain compared to the control group across the experimental period. In the first month, weight gain increased progressively with increasing spirulina concentration, with the highest values observed 1.2 grams per 100 liters and 1.6 grams per 100 liters. Treatment groups compared to the control. The growth rate of the fish fed diet supplemented with different concentrations of spirulina under ammonia contaminated conditions. Oh wait, I read in the wrong order. A similar trend was observed in the second month, where the control group exhibited minimal weight gain, while fish receiving the spirulina diets recorded higher values. By the third month, the highest weight gain was recorded in the 1.2 grams 100 liter treatment group, followed by the 1.6 gram 100 liter group. The control group showed comparatively lower weight gain. And overall dietary supplementation with spirulina fusiformis, particularly at 1.2 grams per 100 liters, resulted in enhanced growth performance under ammonia stress conditions. So I'm curious to see what other things they measure this by. So under ammonia contaminated conditions, during the first month, the growth rate increased. Yep. The control group showed the lowest value. Nick said any info on temp, oxygen, and other parameters used here. They listed some earlier. I'm expecting that they're going to come up again here, but it looks like they're just looking at weight gain. We have growth rate too. So they did weight gain. Now we're looking at growth rate. So in the last one, 1.2 grams per 100 liter was the best. And in this one, it also had a higher growth rate. In the first month. In the second month, a general declining growth rate was observed across all treatments. Nevertheless, fish fed 1.6 grams per 100 liters exhibited the highest growth rate. By the third month, growth rate decreased further. However, this time the 1.2 grams per 100 liters maintained relatively higher growth rate compared with the control and lower supplementation levels. The feeding rate of the rescue cichlid, so they did the feeding rate too, subjected to different dietary levels as presented in Table 3. In the first month, feeding rate increased slightly with increasing spirulina concentration, with the highest value in the 1.2 group. During the second month, feeding rate declined across all treatments. 1.2 group exhibited the highest feeding rate, and in the third month, 1.2 group is the highest again, and the feeding rate still decreased. In conversion efficiency, it looks like, the 1.2 group also did better. Coloration of the fish. The coloration of the fin, skin, and muscle tissues fed diet supplemented with different levels of Spirulina fusiformis. In the first month, the control group exhibited the highest fin and skin color values, while muscle coloration remained relatively low. Fish fed 400 milligrams 100 liters and 800 milligrams 100 liters spirulina showed reduced fin and skin coloration compared with the control. Fish fed 1.2 grams per 100 liters exhibited higher muscle coloration, whereas the lowest fin, skin, and muscle coloration values were recorded in the 1.6 gram per 100 liter group. During the second month, an overall increase in coloration was observed across most treatments. The control group maintained high fin and skin color value. Interesting. With moderate muscle pigmentation. By the third month, fin, skin, and coloration further increased in all groups, the highest value recorded in the control group. Among the spirulina treated groups, fish fed 1.2 grams per 100 liters showed higher fin, skin, and muscle coloration compared with 400 milligrams 100 liters and 800 milligrams 100 liter treatments. The lowest coloration value was in the 1.6 group, despite a slight increase in muscle pigmentation. Are they going to explain this to me? I'm so confused. I thought the spirulina was going to make it more colorful. What's going on? The present study demonstrated that dietary supplementation with spirulina fusiformis significantly improved growth performance, feed utilization, ammonia tolerance, and coloration of Idiotropheus springerae reared under ammonia-contaminated conditions. I guess they're just saying it tolerated it better just by virtue of it growing faster and all that. I kind of thought they'd have some more parameters or like health things, maybe a little bit more about the different variables there. If they didn't measure the weight of the total of the bacteria in filters and sands, how can they say where the energy went or was consumed? I mean, it's an interesting question. In theory, they set all the tanks up the same, so they're just comparing. The only variable would be the fish in their minds, I guess. But it's a good question. So fish fed, the 1.2 exhibited a higher weight gain and growth rates compared to control. This can be attributed to the high nutritional value of spirulina, which contains essential amino acids, vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and bioactive compounds that enhance metabolism and protein synthesis. The decline in growth rate observed during later months across all treatments may be associated with prolonged exposure to ammonia stress, which is known to impair appetite, metabolism, and energy allocation in fish. However, spirulina-fed fish exhibited comparatively better growth, so I was right. They're just assuming that it helped them against the effects of ammonia just based off the fact that they ate more. And I mean, how much a fish eats and grows and stuff aren't terrible health indicators. People talk about that a lot. Like, if a fish is not eating normally, it's like, a sign. But I see what you're saying, Mick. Which suppresses appetite and feeding behavior in fish, the ammonia exposure. Despite this decline, spirulina supplemented groups, particularly those fed 1.2, showed higher conversion efficiency than the control. Diana said, I confess I ate it. She messed up. Diana messed up the study. She ate the spirulina. Spirulina does taste terrible. You got to put it in like a smoothie or something. I've tried to eat just the powder before, and I don't recommend it. I just put a spoonful of powder in my mouth. I don't know why I did that. It was about as disgusting as you could imagine. Those fed 1.2 and 1.6 showed higher conversion efficiency than the control. Improved feed conversion efficiency suggests that spirulina enhanced digestive enzyme activity and nutrient absorption, allowing fish to utilize feed more effectively even under stressful conditions. These findings were consistent with previous studies that showed improved feed efficiency in fish fed spirulina-based diets. Interesting, the highest spirulina level did not consistently yield the best growth or feeding responses, indicating that excessive supplementation may not be beneficial. This supports the concept of optimal inclusion level, which is beyond no further physiological advantage is achieved. Don't do that. It's too late. I already did it. Look, I got food grade spirulina, so I can eat it and my fish can eat it. But I have not eaten it. It's been just my fish since. One of the most notable outcomes of the study was the significant reduction in ammonia concentrations in tanks receiving higher spirulina supplementation. But where did they list that? I must have missed that. Or maybe this is just them bringing it up now, because I don't see the ammonia concentration listed. Unless that's the milligrams thing. No, because diet. I always like paranoid I'm reading this shit wrong, so that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But usually you guys notice when I do. I think we're good. But okay, apparently the reduction in ammonia concentration in tanks receiving higher spirulina supplementation. Spirulina may contribute to ammonia reduction through multiple mechanisms, including uptake of nitrogenous waste, enhancement of microbial activity, and improved fish metabolism that reduces ammonia excretion. Similar ammonia-reducing effects of microalgae in aquaculture systems have been reported in 2005 and 2018. Lower ammonia levels likely contributed to improved growth and feed efficiency, as ammonia is known to cause gill damage, oxidative stress, and impaired osmoregulation in the fish. Therefore, it not only acted as a nutritional additive, but also indirectly improved water quality, creating a more favorable rearing environment. I feel like I need a little bit more support for this. I mean, I know they cited some other studies, but like, this kind of came out of nowhere. Coloration of fish. The spirulina supplementation influenced pigmentation patterns. Nick said, like always, Nick, now you're giving us the links. Do a dig deeper ourselves if you want to. Please do. And I'll post the links in the Discord and the research channel. I'll do that. I'll start doing that after the streams so we can keep discussing it there. What's up, Jose? Oxygen levels got to be of importance here. I agree, Mick. Lisa said, or were the control fish fed something else? They were fed like a basic feed. So my theory is whatever feed they're fed, a lot of these commercial feeds are formulated to make fish more colorful, probably. So, I mean, they're making up the spirulina thing, but there's probably a feed someone put. It could just be a feed someone already put the effort into to try and prove it made fish more colorful or something like that. Okay, 1.2 showed consistently improved muscle, fin, and skin coloration compared to lower supplementation levels. This effect is likely due to the high content of natural carotenoids such as beta-carotene and zeaxanthin. Although the control group showed higher fin and skin coloration values in some months, this might be related to stress-induced pigment concentration rather than true enhancement of coloration quality. The consistently lower coloration observed in the 1.6 group suggests that excessive spirulina inclusion may interfere with pigment deposition or absorption, reinforcing the importance of optimal dosing. I mean, that's an interesting spin there. The control had better coloration because perhaps it was stress-induced pigment concentration. All right. I don't know. I don't know. Conclusion. Let's see if we agree with the conclusion. Mick says, interesting, even though I don't get the whole picture, which we can go search. Their conclusion is dietary supplementation of spirulina fusiformis significantly improved growth performance, feed utilization, ammonia tolerance, and coloration. But it didn't improve coloration, did it? I mean, it did, I guess, in like the muscles or something. I don't know. Under ammonia contaminated conditions, the 1.2 g/100 liter inclusion was optimal, producing the best overall growth, feed conversion, pigmentation, and water quality improvement. Higher levels reduced ammonia effectively, but did not further enhance growth or coloration. Well, this is another thing. They're like, well, maybe, you know, the ammonia is what was slowing down the growth or whatever. But the 1.6, did they not have lower growth levels than the 1.2? Yet, I'm pretty sure it's saying that the 1.6 reduced the most ammonia. So you think it was reducing ammonia the most, and that was one of the main things holding back the growth rate, then the 1.6 would be higher? No? Am I thinking about that wrong? But did not further enhance growth or coloration. These results indicate that spirulina is a valuable functional feed additive for promoting health performance and aesthetic quality in ornamental fish culture. Let's see. These are all from, looks like mostly people from some universities in India. I was like, yo, is this a spirulina salesman? Just want to double check. I'm gonna put the links to all the papers from tonight in the Discord research channel real quick. Oh, I saw Diana in the Discord said, dang, you keep going online at the same time as Primetime Aquatics, but I'm not missing your topic. Aw, I appreciate you stopping by. Hey, look, you can always hit the replay on me or Primetime, whichever you choose. I won't take offense. But I always say, hey, you can watch the replay. It's fine. We care about the replay crew too. All right, how you guys feeling so far? You feeling all right? We should have put most of you to sleep by now. I'll be honest. It should have already happened. That's 3 papers. One of them I'm not even sure was actually written in English, you know? So I feel like you should be snoozing at this point. Especially you, Mick, because I know it's late as hell over there. Okay, I'm putting the links from tonight in the Discord channel. And if you're not in the Discord, I think the link to the Discord is in my channel description or in the description to this. I'll throw that in the chat too real quick. What's up, Anabantoidy? How's it going? Mick says, sometimes research papers barely give you a small piece of the puzzle. It's like when my friends were studying construction. I agree, especially when you can only comprehend so much. What do you guys think? Should we do one more? Should we do one more paper? A bonus paper, as it were. I think I got one. It's gonna be food related either way. But it's up to you. We can just go to sleep now. I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. But I might have one more food related one in me. Let me see. Jose said I better stay awake on the drive, a long day. Oh no, don't fall asleep while driving. Wow. Quick, switch. Switch the stream. Off topic. Okay. Bummed I missed the past couple streams, but at least I got a few minutes in today. Big Cat says, welcome, Adamantoid. Lisa said I was sleepy till the sacrifice method. Yeah, you guys missed the sacrifice method. Come on. No, wait. I'll read. We'll do one more. We'll do one more because bonus paper. Yo, comment if you made it this far in the replay. This was the best part for this last one. The chosen test medium was changed daily to maintain the constant toxic concentrations. The sacrifice method was adopted to estimate growth. A few sample fish representing the experimental fish were killed to estimate the water content at the beginning of the species. The killed fish were then put in the oven at 80 degrees Celsius for 2 days to await constancy. That was one of the most hilarious descriptions. Like, usually they kind of sneak in them killing the fish. Like, they'll say they killed it once and then they don't repeat it. This one, they're like, yeah, we did the sacrifice method. We killed them, and then they just we put the dead fish, we put the specimens, we put the body. They're like, we put the slaughtered fish in the oven. Insane. But I gotta respect the honesty, you know. Baking the fish, come on, for 2 days, 80 degrees Celsius for 2 days, and you can't just say baking. You can't just say baking the fish. It's baking the killed fish. Get it right. All right, since we got Big Cat 420, we'll do a catfish one. But it's on a topic that I have a couple papers on. Maybe we can do another one next time. But it's about feeding fruit to fish. Fruit waste. This is from April 2026, so relatively recent. Put the link to this in the chat if you're one of those people that like to read along. I'll try and throw the links in the chat, and I'll try and be better about putting them in the Discord as well. All right. Nick said, sacrifice for science and future generations. I appreciate the effort. I mean, they're already in ammonia concentrated. Well, I think they killed all the fish in this study, I'll be honest. All right, this is the assessment of fruit processing waste extracts as functional feed additives in the African catfish, Clarius scarapinus. Pause. Diet, effects on growth, performance, and health indicators. So there's a couple papers I got saved up for whenever on feeding fish fruit waste and kind of like completing that cycle. So here is a catfish. You know, the aquaculture related papers got all the funding. So, hey, what's up, Jose, with the $4.99? Thank you very much, Jose. I hope you're done driving. You better not be donating while you're driving, but I appreciate you. W Jose in the chat, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The support is very appreciated. You guys have been really like, we've got a consistent group of people the last few weeks. It's been nice. It's been really nice. Times were rough, but the streams are great fun. So, appreciate you. All right, let's get into this. Fruit wastes are rich resources of bioactive compounds with potential novel applications as functional ingredients for the aquafeed industry. Hence, the study aimed to evaluate the effects of orange peel extracts and pineapple peel extracts on growth, intestinal histomorphometry, stress, and immunological indices of African catfish, Clarius scarapinus. Water-soluble compounds were extracted from orange peel and pineapple peel using maceration technique and identified by gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Afterwards, 5 diets were formulated to include the control. Let's get into the materials and methods here. It's all about sustainability. Jose said a few blocks from home, off the hit now. Okay, you're almost home. So sustainability of food production is crucial to advancing socioeconomic development and foster a circular economy that meets society needs. So, I've been feeding my terrestrial isopods a lot of terrarium plants. They basically only eat, I feed them some fish food too, but they eat a lot of duckweed and stuff like that. That's one way of closing the circle. But, how much do I want to be feeding things duckweed? It's not really that much fun. Now, if there's some things like some peels from different fruits, of course, it'd probably be like some organic shit or something. But, that's really interesting to me, something that I can kind of mix in my own waste, not just all the floating plants that I've been too lazy to eradicate from our tank. Now, I don't know how often I'm eating. I eat a lot of oranges. I'm not gonna lie, I've been eating a lot of oranges, but pineapple peeling, I don't quite do as much. But this is just one to get us started. Integral part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is to ensure efficient utilization of natural resources and reduction of food waste at the retail and consumer level by 2030. They are running out of time. However, the growing demand for natural and high-quality diets has driven increased food production, resulting in the production of substantial waste. The global fruit processing sector generates approximately 500 million tons of waste annually, including peels, rinds, seeds, pulps, and pomace. The proper disposal of these wastes poses economic and environmental challenges such as high operational costs and contamination. So let's feed them to the fish. We got swimming trash cans. Let's go. Despite these concerns, fruit processing wastes are rich in bioactive compounds, including polyphenols, carotenoids, polysaccharides, peptides, luxmaxine, organic acids, and essential oils. Notably, the peel and seeds of citrus, avocado, mango, and grape often contain higher concentrations of phenolics compared to the edible portions. I'm looking up this word. Phenolics. Phenols. Phenols, sometimes called phenolics, are a class of chemical compounds consisting of one or more hydroxyl groups, negative OH bonded directly to aromatic hydrocarbon group. Yeah, I understand everything now. Phenols are more acidic than typical alcohols. The acidity in phenols is commonly intermediate between that of aliphatic alcohols and carboxylic acids. Their pKa is usually between 10 and 12. So for anyone that means something to, we're getting a little bit of context here. Many of phenols of commercial interest are prepared by elaborations of phenols or cresols. They're typically produced by alkylation of benzene and toluene with propylene to form cumene. Holy God, bro. Let's turn some lead to gold. Let's go. Lisa said, luxmaxine our fish with the peptides, man. Who knew? Injecting stuff on my face, I could have just eaten an orange peel. These compounds exhibit significant biological activities, including antioxidant, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and anti-fish keeper sentiments. And immunostimulatory effects, making them valuable for diverse industrial applications. Consequently, the valorization of fruit waste presents a sustainable strategy to mitigate environmental impacts while offering nutritive and health benefits. Aquaculture plays a crucial role in food security, supplying high-quality protein for human consumption. However, sustainability is constrained by challenges, cost, quality of feed ingredients, and prevalence of diseases in fish farms. In this context, fruit processing waste derived as functional feed additives offers a promising strategy to improve feed efficiency and fish health. Sweet orange, citrus sinensis, and pineapple, Ananas comosus, are highly consumed as fresh produce and used for juice production, thus generating large amounts of peels annually. Orange peels, the primary waste material, are rich in bioactive compounds. Yo, someone tell me what the name of this book is. I just had a flashback to my childhood of a book I really liked. And it was about, It was one of those classic like Kid with the Dragon books, I think. But the dragon ate orange peels was like his thing he just loved, if I'm remembering correctly. Someone, please, someone know what I'm talking about. I remember loving this book so much. Just, please, someone. Okay. Orange peels, the primary waste material, are rich in bioactive compounds, pectin, phenolics, flavonoids, terpenes, alkaloids, which have a vast range of functional properties. Earlier research revealed that flavonoids, essential oils, and pectin derived from orange peels enhance antioxidant status and disease resistance in tilapia. On the other hand, pineapple peel represents a viable choice as functional ingredients due to its rich phytochemical constituents with therapeutic effect. Dietary administration of pineapple peel powder was found to improve immune response and resistance against Streptococcus agalactiae infection in the Nile tilapia. Let me look up what that is real quick. Streptococcus agalactiae, a gram-positive coccus round bacterium. All right. And Clarius garapenus, the catfish, is an important freshwater aquaculture species that's endemic and widely cultured in Africa and the Middle East. The African catfish, due to its high economic value, has been ranked amongst the top species that contributed to 75% of global aquaculture production and food security in developing countries. Let's look at the methods here. Let's get to it. Let's get into it. I don't need any more hype about how we need to save the planet. I need to get to feeding the peels to the fish. So, the peels of the sweet orange and the pineapple were collected from fruit processors at open markets in Lagos mainland, Nigeria. The fruit peels were air-dried, then milled into powder form. The aqueous extract of each pulverized... 3 tails of my father's dragons. Let me see if that's it. Yep, that's it. 3 tails of my father's dragon. Yep. Oh my gosh, man. What a flashback. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see. Yes. I was obsessed with any book involving a dragon when I was a kid. I just loved. I barely remember this, but now I do. And he fed the dragon orange peels. It was like the funniest little thing. Great. If you have some kids, man, have them read this book. I endorse it. Good times. All right. The peels were air-dried, then milled into powdered form. The aqueous extract of each pulverized fruit peel was prepared using the maceration method. Briefly, each pulverized fruit peel was immersed in deionized water, 1 to 4 water, and at room temperature, kept in the dark and allowed to macerate for 72 hours. So macerate, so letting it break down by soaking it in liquid or by sprinkling it with sugar or salt to draw out its natural juices. Okay. So for 72 hours, they did that with periodical agitation. What's up, Maven? One of my daughter's favorite books as a little one was I Love You, Stinky Face. That sounds cute. The supernatants were collected through filtration and concentrated in a hot air oven at 40 degrees Celsius to obtain crude orange peel extract and pineapple peel extract. The chemical constituents of orange peel extract and pineapple peel extract were determined by using Agilent 5977B GC/MSD system coupled with the Agilent 8860 autosampler, a gas chromatograph interface to a mass spectrometer equipped with an elite 5ms 5% definol. Oh my god, there's too many technical things for me to read here. They got some serious systems to handle these orange peels and pineapple peels. Holy. The injector temperature was maintained at 300 degrees Celsius. The ion source temperature was 250 degrees Celsius, and the oven temperature was programmed from 100 degrees Celsius for 0.5 minutes. The increase of 20 degrees Celsius a minute to 280 degrees Celsius. Mass spectra were taken at 70 eV, a scanning interval of 0.5 seconds, and fragments from 45 to 450 DA. Please, if you understand this, just know I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you know all this. This is crazy. The solvent delay was 0 to 3 minutes. The chemical constituents in the orange peel and the pineapple peel were identified with the Mass Hunter data library. Holy. Here come the diets. The diets that serve as a control were formulated to contain ingredients such as fish meal, soybean meal, meat and bone meal, maize, noodle waste, wheel, offal, palm oil, etc. Here's the chemical constituents identified in the orange peel aqueous extract. We got D-limonene, decadenol, methyl Z8 hexadicinol, trimethyl, ocadecine, tridecyl methoxyacidic acid, benzene dicarboxylic acid. Oh my God, man. All these, I can't even read this. Lots of acids. Let me read, let me get to the bottom here. Yep. Therefore, 4 isoproteoic experimental diets with a crude protein level at 43% were prepared by supplementing the basil diet with a crude extract of either orange peels at 1 gram per kilogram or pineapple peel at 1 gram per kilogram. The homogenized mixture of each experimental diet was passed through a feed pelletizer coupled with a 2mm ring die. The feed pellets were air-dried, packed in Ziploc bags, and stored at 4 degrees Celsius until further use. You know, I feel like I could make a version of this myself besides, like, the Dr. Doom machine they're using to analyze the... I don't need to know what all these acids are. I just need to... What's the word? Guys, we're doing fish trivia soon. You know, I'm letting you know the next trivia is going to be big on vocabulary because I'm tired of not knowing what I'm reading. Yeah, maceration. We can do some maceration ourselves, okay? We can chop up some peels, dry them out, throw them in water, you know, in the dark and stuff for 72 hours. We can do that. Annabelle Twitty said, I'm sorry you know all this. Would this impact the pH, Lisa said? I'm not sure. Nick said they have to name the method they use to make it comparable to other studies. That's true. Yo, Captain Critter's in the chat. Long time no see. What's up, Captain? Captain heard I was going to do another trivia. I love terrorizing people with running trivia. African catfish juveniles were obtained from notable private fish farm in Lagos, Nigeria. Yo, this is the first time. They're always like, oh, is this farm? This is the first time they hyped the farm up. They said a notable private fish farm in Lagos, Nigeria. They acclimatized them for 14 days to laboratory rearing conditions, water temperature of 27 degrees to 29 degrees Celsius, and a dissolved oxygen level of 5.8 to 6.5 milligrams a liter, I believe. By the way, here's the food ingredients of the basil diet. I think this is the control one. I'm not sure. Fish meal, soybean meal, meat and bone meal, maize, noodles waste, wheat offal, diacalcium phosphate, micronutrient premix. Oh, thanks for that. Methionine, lysine, toxin binder, palm oil, and that gives us 43 protein, lipid 7.7%, ash 14%, moisture 8.9, crude fiber basically 5, nitrogen-free extract 20.4, and gross energy kcal/kilograms 4,380. How do you spell that? Wait, how do I spell which part? Captain said, we made it through finals. Pass. Now I can chill and learn questionable fish facts within my tanks. One step closer to being a nurse. Congrats. Hey, we're going to have multiple nurses in the chat then, because we got Jose. Then when Captain's a nurse. Yo, I'm ready to have a heart attack on stream. Let's go. You guys are gonna have to figure it out. It'll be like an episode of Grey's Anatomy. You're gonna have to like get some. The tech guy will have to hack my computer, and then you'll use my computer to upload a virus to my Wi-Fi, which will then emit radio waves from all the speakers in the house that cause the fish to become aware, evolve, and work together to all jump out of the tank, flop up and down on top of my chest, performing CPR and reviving me. The puffer fish will be the ones that do, the mouth to mouth because they got the air thing. Yeah, this is totally gonna work. Mick said you can help me with my insomnia. Lisa said you'll be our sacrifice streamer. Hey. And Abantoid said, hey, there's only like one nurse on Grays. Otherwise, the hospital has nothing but surgeons doing everything. That's hilarious. I forget how many seasons of that show I watched. I did watch a decent amount of seasons of it, but it's like shows like that at the time was a decent amount of seasons, but then they go for like 100 seasons. So I essentially have no idea what happened. All right, let's go. Okay, after they acclimated the fish, 180 fish with initial body weight of 24.1 gram of fish were randomly distributed to 15 50-liter plastic tanks, 12 fish per tanks. So 50 liters to gallons is like 13 gallons. How big are these fish? Yo, the Reddit is going to eat these people up on the stocking, man. What's going on? 12 fish in a 10-gallon tank. You know how big these catfish get? Allotted to 5 experimental dietary groups. Each group was in a triplicate. Okay, that's nice. So 5 experimental dietary groups, and each one of those has a triplicate. They just got greenlit for season 23. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, congrats, W Captain, for the passing finals. Throughout the 40-day trial, they fed them twice daily. Fish were hand-fed to satiation. Yo, I want to be hand-fed to satiation. This is crazy. They better not kill these fish, because so far it's kind of sounding nice. All catfish are hand-fed to satiation and have diets supplemented with the finest orange peel extracts that gives them the antioxidants that they require. So when they arrive into your home, on your plate, you're as nourished as they were when we hand-fed them. Water change was done every 2 days. To maintain water quality, solid waste was removed from the tank daily by siphoning water. And water temperature, dissolved oxygen, and pH were routinely monitored using clinical thermometers. Dissolved oxygen analyzer DO9100 and a hand refractometer Irma Inc. were used respectively for those tasks. Let's see, how much does this dissolve? I feel like dissolved oxygen is one of the things that would be cool to... Wait, this thing's cheap as hell. Hold up. It's on eBay for like 50 bucks. How good can this be? I thought dissolved oxygen meters were like a lot more expensive. Okay, I see another one for 100. But I mean, it's not as crazy as I was thinking. Yeah, that's kind of wild. Lisa said hand feeding would probably ensure they had an equal amount, possibly. Celia said, I managed to pass the semester with a 2.9 GPA. Would have been so much better to say 3.0, but W for me, I did it. Hey, W Jacob as well for passing. A pass is a pass. Well done. And Bantoy said, I've taken several gap years, but next year I start school. I'm hoping to enter a medical field, but not as a nurse. Oh, that's cool. Yo, when I have a medical emergency on stream, I'm going to be in good hands. Or fins, depending on who gets to me first. The fish weight was recorded on a weekly basis to monitor growth and feeding response. The following standard for formula listed below was used to determine the fish growth performance after the experimental period. So they also, similar to the other one, feed intake versus amount of uneaten food and things like that. Hematological parameters, including erythrocytes, leukocytes, and hemoglobin and hematocrit, were determined in the fish blood samples following standard procedures. The white blood cell differential count was carried out by preparing a blood film with the EDTA-treated blood samples. They got all the tools in this one. The blood film was fixed with the acetone-free methyl alcohol for 5 minutes, stained with fields A and B, and examined under the oil immersion objective of a light microscope to determine lymphocyte level. Blood performance was evaluated using a standard formula. Feeding was stopped 24 hours prior to the blood and tissue collection. See, if this was the last one, they would have said feeding was stopped 24 hours before the sacrifice ceremony and the subsequent slaughter of the test fish. Blood was drawn from 3 randomly selected fish from each tank, 9 fish per dietary group, using a 2 milliliter syringe and a 23 gauge needle. Let me look that up. 23 gauge needle. I just want to see how terrifying this would look to a fish. Oh, that's not too bad. This is what the fish see right before the. You're going to feel a little pinch. Sacrifice initiated. What was that? No, don't worry. Don't worry. Just take a deep breath in. Anna Bocher said, "Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I won't ever quite catch up, but we'll be glad to help people. That'll be cool. This will be the best stream to be on in a few years if someone starts having an emergency." Yeah. Okay. The blood was emptied into EDTA-coated 5 milliliter tube for analysis, while for serological analysis, blood was emptied into 10 milliliter centrifuge tubes, and serum was obtained after centrifugation and stored at negative 20 degrees Celsius until further analysis. For histological examination of the mid-intestine, 1 fish per tank, N equals 3, was randomly selected. Glucose and total protein levels and activities of aspartate aminotransferase and alkaline phosphates in serum were analyzed. Cortisol level and total immunoglobulin were measured. Okay. Let's look at the growth performance. The effects of the tested fruit waste extracts on growth performance and nutrient uptake in African catfish after 6 weeks of the feeding trial were significantly improved in fish-fed diets incorporated with graded levels of orange peels or pineapple peels. The final body weight of African catfish attained 68.96, I think that's grams, in the orange peel 1.0 dietary group, followed by the pineapple peel 2.0 group, which reached 65, was significantly different. I think the fish started around 21. From the control and other dietary groups. Remarkably, a significant impact was observed in the FCR amongst the dietary groups, with the lowest value 1.14 recorded in the orange peels and the highest value 1.65 observed in the control group. The intestinal histology and morphometry of African catfish fed the different experimental diets. There was no observable lesions in the representative HE stain sections of the mid-intestinal tissues of African catfish from all experimental groups. Intestinal morphometrics revealed that the villi height and width increased in fish fed. I hate when it splits up. Either the orange peel or pineapple peel diets were significantly different from the control group. So let's look at these charts real quick. So there's a lot to get into here. So we have the initial body weight at the top of this chart. The initial body weight in all the groups were basically 24.11 or 24.12. Then we have the final body weight. So in the control group, it went from 24 to 55. In the orange peel 1.0 group, it went from 24 to 68.9. In the orange peel 2.0 group, it went from 24 to 6.2. And in the pineapple peel 1.0 group, it went from 24 to 6.2. And the pineapple peel 2.0 went from 24 to 65. Are oranges and pineapples native to Nigeria? I know where they grow in the U.S., but totally naive to West African produce. I don't think so. I don't think oranges are. And I feel like pineapples are not either. Let's see. Google says pineapples are from South America, but that Nigeria is like a huge pineapple producer, maybe the biggest. Orange. What's up, Atkins? And Anna Bantoid in the chat says, I believe pineapples are from South America as well. Let's see. Google says oranges are native to Southeast Asia. So China, southern China, northeast India, and northern Myanmar. But it seems like they must make a bunch of them in Africa. Okay. So pretty decent increase in the different peel groups. I'm trying to look at these other. We have specific growth rate, SGR. We have relative weight gain, RWG. Feed intake, and FCR is feed conversion ratio. PI is protein intake, and PER is protein efficiency ratio. I also appreciate they put survivability as a variable at the bottom. So the control group, the survivability was 94.4. For the orange peels 1.0, it's 97.2. All the other groups were 94.4, except for the pineapple peel 2.0, which was 91%. Here you see the representative photomicrographs of the stained mid-intestine. So here's the control here. And I have no ability to analyze this, but just for the interest, if you happen to be watching, you can see the controls intestine stain here versus orange peel 1.0, orange peel 2.0, pineapple peel 1.0, and pineapple peel 2.0. To my eyes, there does seem to be they all look different. They did say that they were different. To my eyes, they look different. Hopefully they tell us the significance. God, I have no idea. Jose said, more years in ER nursing, NYC, otherwise critical care, heart, lung transplants, open heart surgery, surgical ICU, neuro ICU, surgical ICU, last 19 years, PACU, recovery room. Wow. Atkins Nature Aquarium said, what are we looking at? We're reading through our final bonus paper of the night, and it's about feeding orange peels and pineapple peels to aquaculture catfish. The name escapes me, but it sounds like penis. Hold up. Clarius scarapenis. There you go. You're welcome. So this is the effect that it had on the intestinal histomorphometry of the catfish. So what we could kind of see with our eyes. It affected the villi height and villi width. Okay, villi height catfish. What does this mean? It says a key indicator of gut health and nutrient absorption. Oh my God, I want to capture. I'm trying not to do the Google summaries, although it's relatively fine for stealing directly from paper quotes. Well, you know. Okay, here we go. The height of the villi is a critical indicator of the effective absorptive area of the small intestine, which will be greatly reduced if the villi are shorter. So they were finding in the control, the height and width in the groups with the orange peels are a lot higher and wider. So for the control group, 0.35 is the villi height. And then for the orange peel group 1.0, it's 97, which is a pretty big difference. The pineapple peel 1.0, it's 58. The pineapple peel 2.0 is 94, and the orange peel 2.0 is 79. But all those are a good amount bigger than 35. And the width has a similar thing going on. So if I look at the pictures again, I'm trying to see if I can visualize how the height is that much bigger. I see the difference, but it's not quite clicking in my head. I keep getting recommended videos of Nigerian snail farms for some reason. Apparently snails are like huge. On the Jose and Abantoid said, wow, sounds like an impressive and awesome career. Yeah, Jose is a pretty impressive guy, not gonna lie. Vic said, I bet Nigeria produces a lot of fruit for export, warm 2 rainy periods per year, if not always. Large country, lots of cheap labor, 80+ million people, great harbor and shipping. Indeed. Atkins said, interesting, sorry for the late response to me and dinner. Hey, no worries, man. I'm planning on 50% red plants for my 40-gallon Rotala Super Red and Rotala Washi. That sounds pretty nice to me. The cryptal height was higher in fish-fed orange peels 1.0, followed by pineapple peels 1.0. It significantly differs from the control. However, the differences in the cryptal height of orange peel 2.0 and pineapple peel 2.0 were not significant when compared to the control. The cryptal width of the control group was lowest and significantly varied from other experimental groups. The thickness of the intestinal smooth muscle layer increased significantly in orange peel 1.0 and orange peel 2.0 and pineapple peel 1.0 when compared to the control. Hematological indices and blood performance. The impact of dietary orange peels and pineapple peels graded levels on African catfish hematology and blood performance. The erythrocyte count in fish-fed pineapple peel 1.0 and 2.0 were the highest and lowest respectively. Weird. And significantly varied from other dietary groups. Orange peels significantly increased leukocyte count and fish fed an inclusion level of 1 gram per kilogram and was significantly different compared to control and other experimental diets. Serum stress indicators and immune indices and liver function enzymes. The effect of different fruit waste extracts on stress indicators are illustrated in Figure 2. Serum cortisol level was decreased in fish-fed diets containing graded levels of orange peels or pineapple peels, and significantly different from the control. There was also a significant reduction in serum glucose level in orange peel 1.0 and orange peel 2.0 in the pineapple peel 1.0 dietary groups. However, fish-fed the pineapple peel 2.0 diet had the highest level of serum glucose, followed by the control, and significantly varied from the other dietary groups. Pineapple peel 1.0 had the highest serum total protein. Rotala are great plants, and Bantoidi said, those are really nice ones. I hope they do well. Bob said, they're the reddest plants I own, waiting for them to get bushy. Let's go. Let's read the discussion here. The utilization of fruit processing wastes as functional ingredients in fish feed could contribute significantly to the global efforts of ensuring responsible consumption and production in the food industry. Therefore, the present study evaluated the dietary effects of phytochemical-rich extracts derived from the peels of orange and pineapple in African catfish. The classes of active components identified in orange peel extract and pineapple peel extract consist of terpenoids, phenolics, and fatty acids. In addition, only orange peel extract contained D-limonene, a naturally occurring terpene previously reported as a key compound in citrus. These phytochemicals are notable for their growth-stimulating, immunomodulatory, antimicrobial, and oxidative activities. Growth improvement through dietary supplementation is highly relevant in aquaculture because it's integral to productivity and the financial viability of the industry. The present study evaluated the growth performance of African catfish fed diets containing orange peel extract or pineapple peel extract at greater levels, and the findings indicated that all orange peel extract and pineapple peel dietary groups significantly increased weight gain, specific growth rate, protein efficiency ratio, and reduced feed conversion ratio in comparison to the control. In previous studies, the supplementation of Nile tilapia diet with pineapple waste extract resulted in protein digestibility, nutrient utilization, and improved growth. In 2018, another study showed growth improvement has been associated with efficient feed utilization, improved intestinal morphology, digestibility, and absorption. And other papers in 2020 and 2021 show the intestinal villi height and width play a crucial role in determining the area of contact and interaction between the mucosal epithelial cells and chyme, while the thickness of the intestinal muscle layer and cryptal depth is beneficial for mechanical digestion and absorption, respectively. So, them increasing the height of those is actually a pretty cool effect, not gonna lie. And Avantori said, Rotella indica is one of the kindest type stems for me. A kind stem, that's hilarious. Your stem's been mean to you? I'm pretty lazy to buy plants. I've been fighting with my Acornia. I mostly grow swords, but those get a lot of love. I have 5 immersed runners and counting right now. Very nice, very nice. Man, I wish I could get some runners for my Guaza sword. That'd be nice. Jose said, I also feed butternut squash raw. Even the discus peck at it. Most seem to like it. Oh shit, nice. Mick says a lemon a day keeps the doctor away. Mick, this is about pineapples and oranges. Where are you coming up with a lemon, Mick? Come on. I know it's early in Sweden, but okay. In this study, the inclusion of the orange peel extract or pineapple peel extract significantly increased the intestinal villi and crypt surface area and smooth muscle thickness while maintaining the integrity of the intestinal structure. Hence, it could enhance digestion, absorption, and utilization of nutrients in the small intestine, promoting growth in the African catfish. Let's see what they conclude here. We got a nice short conclusion. Let's finish it out. Mick said citrus. God dang, orange / citrus. Oh, so it's just because it's citrus, it's just identical to the lemon. Yeah, this is just like how Savage Cichlid would talk about what's the best temperature for Achilles. Like they all got the same one. I can't believe you generalizing all citrus together. Atkins says, so fruit is good for fish? Well, these particular peel extracts had some beneficial effects on these catfish. Yes. But if this is a topic that interests you guys, I do have a couple more based on feeding fish fruit waste and stuff. It's just a lot of them, believe it or not, were much longer than this. So it's already kind of later than I was hoping to stay up today. But I have more if this is an interesting topic. Atkins says grapefruit. I love grapefruit. I love grapefruit. Okay, conclusion. Fruit wastes contain high levels of bioactive compounds that are safe for application as functional additives in aquafeed. The results from the study demonstrated that fish fed with diet supplemented with orange peel extract or pineapple peel extracts had better growth, performance, and improved health based on the present findings. Orange peel extract supplementation at 1 gram a kilogram and pineapple peel extract supplementation at 2 grams a kilogram of the basal diet exhibited higher growth promoting and immunostimulatory potential. However, the mechanisms by which they stimulate the fish immune system and enhance growth are yet to be fully understood. Hence, further studies should focus on these aspects. They always end the same way. Hey, this was interesting, but someone should really study this. Nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Send me funding. I do think it's funny though. Like, yeah, this is interesting. Yo, someone should really look at this sometime more. Bob says zucchini is an easy way to collect dozens of snails from a tank. Atkins says grapefruit, 3 mandarins. If you know, you know. Holy. Lisa the Wolf said, so I'll not throw a pineapple or orange in my tank yet. Well, you gotta what is it? Macerate it? You have to macerate it first. All right. Then it's you gotta make an extract and stuff. But there could be something. I know the main thing probably, I don't know how much. If you're like drying it out and all that stuff. I know some people with isopods are paranoid about like pesticides used on things and stuff, so you get like organic things, but I don't know. I have a feeling they weren't really concerned about that in this, this study. Question is, what may go further into our bodies if we eat those fish? You just said a limit a day keeps the doctor away. What's the problem? What's the problem, Nick? They're already full of microplastics. Microplastics, the asbestos, the lead gas of our generation. I guess we won't all be creating an all-natural SpongeBob neighborhood. Listen, it was listen, I'll put in I'll put in a pineapple peel. I'll do it. Why not? I'll macerate it first. Mick said, my dad died at 92 years old. Rest in peace, my condolences, Mick. He loved lemons. Okay? I mean, I love lemons. I'll eat lemons on their own any day. I really do like lemons. Like, I slice up lemons and eat them. Lemons and limes. George Cichlid said, bet he never got scurvy, Mick. That's right. A lemon a day. Mick, you might be onto something here. You might be onto something. Lisa said, my Finnish friend would say, if the bugs won't eat it, then neither should you. I don't know. Do I trust the bugs' taste in food? I've seen what they eat. Maybe they're not eating it because it's they'll eat anything, but they won't eat this as bad. Maybe it's too good. Maybe they like the trash. Maybe they're just filthy, and that's just how they are. They're just bugs, and the trash is what they like. It's not that my pesticide covered food is bad. They just prefer to wiggle in the filth. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Lisa said because the poison isn't good to eat. We love poison, man. Come on, let's be real. We love poison. Anyone? Diana said, I have banana plants in some tanks. Is there a banana peel study? You're funny. Don't banana peels have like cyanide in them and they're like radioactive or something like that? Well, that's another thing. It's like, well, I don't know much about it with plants really, but I know with some of the live foods and stuff, like heavy metal accumulation is a thing. So that's probably something that would have to do with how they grow the plants, I bet. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Wait, what'd you say, Jose? Oh, you said Jose. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Wait, what did you say, Jose? 1 second. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Ah, nice. I'm going to try to eat. I have terrible memory. I'm going to try to eat some cucumbers. Like, I'm always forgetting something. All right, let me catch up in the chat real quick. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Oh, shit, okay. They're pretty affordable, too, so it's like, that works. So I can afford to remember things. Anna Bad Choice said, I guess you aren't eating that many cucumbers. No, only in the form of pickles. Right? That's the same thing. Jacob said, bro, LOL. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Oh, dude, what if we feed our fish enough cucumbers, they could finally remember our face? Let me see. Captain Critter said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Shit, really? They always say, what else do they say is good for memory? Captain said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Oh my God. You've been the whole time, I've been eating pickles. I like pickles. So if I just didn't pickle them, then I would remember where I put my keys. This is crazy. Memory hack. Bob said, I'm proud to say I eradicated cyano from my tank after multiple treatments of Ultra Life Cyano Remover. Bro, what the hell is this? This almost sounds like something you use to kill the fish. Ultra Life. Imagine you just removed cyano. It's just Ultra Life Remover. This is like some kind of Dr. Dr. Doofenshmirtz. You know the guy. Evil guy from Phineas and Ferb. Yeah. The hell you? What the hell? You're using so? You're using some cyanonators. Ultra life remover. Bro, this shit looks outrageous. You know that this had to have been around since the 60s. Ultralife Reef Products Blue Green Slime Stain Remover. I mean, it looks potent. That's for sure. Look, it's like a white powder. It's a white powder in the container. Now, this is crazy. This is definitely giving you cancer in California. This is carcinogenic for sure. Oh, yo, what's up with this guy? Yo, I'm sorry. This is making me run in the opposite direction. Like, you just walk in a dark alley, this guy's like, hey man, I heard you had some problem with some cyano. I got this Ultralife Reef Products Slime Stain Remover. We just call it Ultralife Remover. Yeah, why is he looking at us like that? I don't know. This is definitely like a precursor to someone either gaining superpowers or being horribly disfigured. Yeah. It just looks like something that was made when people still used lead utensils, you know? But okay, my bad. I don't mean to... Anyways, it solved the issue effectively. It solved the issue effectively, so that's awesome. I also used PNS Probio, a stinky purple bacteria that I don't know if it helped. Bro, you are just dumping anything in here, bro. What the hell? Okay, this is like the photosynthetic red bacteria, but purple kind of a thing. All right, that's probably fine. Nick, go back to my last comment. Bro, okay, 1 second. Where's your last comment? You ain't even been chatting that much. Jose said, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. Really? Are cucumbers... I've never heard that before. Are cucumbers great for memory? Hey, Google AI says cucumbers are great for memory and cognitive function. Who would have thought? 6 benefits of eating cucumbers. I'm not seeing memory on here. Anti-inflammatory flavanol, which has been shown to play a protective role against age-related cognitive issues. Good for brain health. Good tip, Jose. I didn't know that. I always think cucumbers are kind of mid, like they're kind of tasteless, but shit. I can remember my keys are. That's definitely worth something. Lisa said, thanks for reading all that to us. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I like to read this shit and try and learn something. So I like having some people struggle through it with me, or, glad through it. Cichlid, what a reference. Come on. Doofenshmirtz. I have a hard time remembering to buy cucumbers. Wait, why are you buying cucumbers like for snails and stuff? Speaking of niche products, have you seen the price of no planaria right now? Dude, yes. I don't know if they just realized, like, fish people are desperate, so they'll pay literally anything for this shit. But the price is outrageous. The bag of no planaria is $75.99. Dog, are you out of your fucking mind? I swear this shit was like $15 at some point. This, it had gone up the last time I looked it up, but this is insane. Now I don't know if it has to do with the fact maybe people realize it's like a drug, I guess, that people do. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, betel nut palm extract as a drug. Yeah, it's a stimulant. Apparently in Asia and the Pacific Islands, they be snorting no planaria. This paper says understanding betel nut addiction. Butylone is the fourth most popular psychoactive substance in the world after tobacco, alcohol, and caffeinated beverages. That's a crazy stat. So I don't know. Maybe the price of Nopalaria went up because people realized it's a goddamn drug. But yeah, $76 is crazy. I have a pack. I kind of got a little wet. I was like, I'll just throw this away and get a new one just in case. But now I'm like, nope, it's probably fine. I'll keep using it forever. I'm basically sitting on gold. Nick, after that one, the follow-up. Wait, what do you want me to look at, Jose? What did you say? Maybe just say it again, because I can't find it. Bro, the Marshallese people I know love chewing tobacco with betel nut. George Cichlid said, hold on, I'm getting my bag. Are they putting Coke in it? No, it is the Coke. That's what I'm saying. When I looked at shit, it's like, probably caffeine would work on planaria, because I think it works by like just overwhelming their neurons. You know what I mean? Should I write the punchline? Jose, what did you say? The last thing that you said is, I hear cucumbers are great for memory. So this is how you remember to bother me every time you've been eating cucumbers? 1 second. Is this a thing? Are cucumbers good for memory? I've heard like a lot of things are good for memory, like fucking olive oil and shit. This is the first I heard of cucumbers. Cucumbers contain anti-inflammatory flavonol called feastin, which has been shown to play a protective role against age-related cognitive decline. Oh shit! Memory enhancement. Studies have shown it not only helps protect, but it enhances memory. Good looks. Who would have thought? I've been eating pickles this whole time. If I just skipped it and just stuck to the cucumbers, then maybe I'd remember where my keys are. It was just honestly worth it enough. The cucumbers don't taste that good anyway. Neural network? Okay. I'm wondering if mystery snails will breed faster than ram's horns used as a feeder. I think ram's horns are easier to... I mean, they both breed pretty fast. But mystery snails kind of... What are you using them to feed? Because they kind of suck as a feeder for everything I've tried to use them for. For one, their shells are a lot harder than ram's horns and stuff. And they just don't seem to, they don't seem to get eaten as easily. I think they're a bit smarter. Yeah, they get bigger. I don't know. I think ram's horns... well, for pea puffers, bladders, I think Schwarzkopf is right. But I think snails are terrible pea puffer food. Long term, I would just get some other live cultures. Honestly, the pea puffers, they've been eating the fruit flies. They've been eating the grindleworms. You can do the frozen bloodworms and stuff. You can do the isopods, scud kind of thing. The peanut beetle larva is kind of annoying as hell. It's not really worth the effort to feed a lot of things, but it's not that hard to get enough to target feed my pea puffers with them, and they seem to like it. I just think the snails are just unreliable, and you need a cleanup crew because they don't finish them off all the way. Jose said, Nick, read the follow-up. A friend had a cucumber shoved up his tutu about 20 years ago. He never forgot it. Jose, what the fuck is going... Where is this coming from? Where is your friend having this occur to him? Well, then again, you've been working as a nurse for a long time, so I'm sure you've seen some shit. Literally. Bob said, interesting, Nick. I have tons of fruit flies. I wasn't sure they come to the surface. Yeah, I've been feeding them the flightless fruit flies. And the apistos seem to eat the... I've been feeding them to a lot of apistos, too. I got so many of them right now. Anything that'll eat them, I gotta feed them. George Cichlid said, bet his memory is incredible, though. How would that help his memory? I don't understand how having a cucumber shoved up, I don't know how that would help, but... I mean, it's definitely a memorable experience. I'm sure you never forget it. I probably spent years in therapy trying to forget it or accept it. It's traumatizing. What's wrong with you, Jose? This is a fish. This is a fish channel. What's going on? What's going on with you, really? I try to read some research papers and stuff, and you want to shove cute. Holy. All right. All right. All right. All right. How are we feeling? I think we've done what we came to do here today. It didn't involve cucumbers, that's for sure. That's for sure. Diana said, "Won't pea puffers need their teeth trimmed?" No, pea puffers. From what I understand, pea puffers don't have issues with their beaks, but they don't actually crunch the shells of the snails. That's the problem. They just they slurp the snails out the shell, and a lot of the times the bladder snails they can get them all the way, but a lot of the times they like leave some stuff behind. But I realized the difference. When I got my Congo puffers they eat snails. Like they crunch the snails, they decimate them. Pea puffers, they just they'll slurp the snails out, or they'll just take like a chunk of them. Like yeah, like George said, sometimes they'll just take a chunk. So it's still fine, it's still good, but I like having a lot of other things to feed them, just because one, like with the Congo puffers, it's my understanding that a lot of their diet in the wild is snails. I think pea puffers have a bit more of a varied diet, so also it's just for that reason that I like to feed them other things. I think that's what one of the puffer websites also was talking about. But if your aquatic isopod population grows, they love those. Diana Rose said, "Now it's a cucumber channel." Oh, not that kind of channel, bro. Come on, holy Fansly coming soon. And my cucumber. Well, you know what? I'm not even going down this line of whatever. Mick said, "Great stream, Nick. Hardest working." You're right, Mick. I should wrap this up while I'm ahead. It's a joke, Nick. It improved his memory. I guess you need to become a dirty old guy like some of us. I'm working on it. Scuds. You could feed the pea puffer scuds. I think a lot of them would survive, and then you'd have scuds, and the scuds would probably steal your credit card information like it's Aquabid 2026 and laugh at you. Your family would all abandon you and call you a scud lover, and that would be the end of your life. Yep. Seems like a totally reasonable thing to say. Damn, Aquabid looks like dog shit, right? This is crazy. Yo, I actually talked to someone that actually they got tricked because they had the ads that kept saying like log in, and they entered in their credit card information. They had to change their card, bro. Aquabid is getting people hit in the cards out here, man. Aquabid stealing credit cards. What did I miss? They just have a bunch of sketchy ads, and like on the computer, it's not as bad, but because the new Aquabid deleted everyone's accounts, the ads that like say like log in now and stuff, which I'm not getting those ads right now, so maybe they fixed it or I'm just not being that lucky. But they had those for a bit, and because the website did delete everyone's accounts, some people thought that it really was a new login situation. And yeah, that's what happened. Jacob said, "My friend has puffers and I gave him scuds for them. He says they decimate them. They don't even have a chance to get to his wallet." Yo, get these scud lovers out of here, man. It's crazy. What is it called? Yo, I'm saying scud lover. It sounds bad racist. It sounds like I'm trying to bring back the swim crow era. Okay. I gotta go to sleep. Yo, the swim crow laws. What the fuck? Okay. Okay. Uh, this is America. You're being prejudiced on Scotch. You're on that note. Yeah, you're right. I gotta. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, bro. Let's wrap it up like I'm sure Jose's friend's cucumber wasn't. Holy. Praying for recovery. That was good, not gonna lie. Unfortunately, that's the bar. All right, let's just keep that one between us. All right, everyone, this has been a good time. I appreciate you. It was definitely worth the staying up, even though I got to get up a little bit earlier tomorrow. I'm having a good time hanging out, as usual. Give me your feedback in the Discord or not. I put all the papers from tonight in the Discord research channel. And if you just, it's easy for me to do these streams relatively because I just have to like vet some papers, things I think you guys will interesting. Get on here, read them, and you already told me you hate it when I read ahead, so that kind of takes some responsibility off of me. But it's easier for me to do these streams with some of the other ones because it's just straightforward what we talk about. So if you like them enough, I can just, you know, I can be a little bit more consistent and do them. I'm just always afraid of doing too many. So let me know. Beto said, "You guys still grinding?" I'm about to get off, but yeah, we've been working hard for sure. Yeah. And after it's a good stream, glad I caught the end after missing a couple. Appreciate you coming back, stopping by. No worries. Hardest working fish stream. You're always gonna make one eventually, and you know the replays are there if you want. Shout out to the replay crew. If you watch through, leave a comment. I already know it's just gonna be Cam Jam. It's gonna be Cam Jam, and shout out to Cam Jam always holding it down in the comment section. Beto said I'm about to get out. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Get the replay, man. Get the replay. Wait, Jose. Jose said cucumbers are good for memory. Huh. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get off and find some cucumbers. Then hopefully they'll help me remember why I should get back on and stream again after all the abuse I take. Shout out Swim Crow. This has been In My Tanks. I've had a good time. Appreciate you all. And don't be a stranger. I'll be around. Take it easy. It's In My Takes. And I am absolutely out.